Let us pray. Gracious God, our Father, is once again, Father. It seems like the same time, Father, that we come, Father, asking you for guidance and asking you for understanding. For we know that if we follow your handbook and you would teach us how to do forgiveness and love, Father, that we can do things that not only this county can be proud of, Father, but also you can be proud of. In Jesus' name, we all do pray. Amen.
Ms. Hammond.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America, and to the republic which stands one nation under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Y'all were supposed to follow.
Ms. Hammond, roll call, please.
Mr. Williams.
Here.
Mr. Bill Harris.
Here.
Mr. Crittenden.
Here.
Mr. Jesse.
Here.
Mr. Don Harris.
Here. Thank you. I'll need approval of the consent agenda, but we're going to make a quick change. And that is that under agency and staff reports, item G will be Dave Lehman for that spot. And other than that, Mr. Walker, any other changes that need to be added?
I wanted to move the schools up.
Yes.
Yeah.
We're going to move them to agency and staff reports instead of down at C. We're going to move them up to A, and then the ERP presentation will follow that. Any additions to the minutes?
I'll make a motion to approve the agenda, the minutes with the proper changes.
Okay.
Second.
Okay, we approve for the consent agenda by Mr. Jesse, seconded by Mr. Crittenden. Any further discussion? Seeing none, roll call, please.
Mr. Bill Harris.
Yes.
Mr. Crittenden.
Yes.
Mr. Jesse.
Yes.
Mr. Williams.
Yes.
Mr. Don Harris.
Yes. The approval of the consent agenda has now taken place. And with that, we're going to move right into public comments. Is there anybody on your list? Ms. Riccardi?
I do not have anyone signed up for public comments.
Is there anyone in the gallery that would like to speak? Seeing none, I'll close the public comments. And moving right along, Constitutional Office, Treasurer's Report only on page 41 to 48. Commissioner of Revenue Report only page 49. Any discussion of any of those two items?
But I would like to note that both the Commissioner of Revenue and the Treasurer are here in case you have any questions.
Any questions for either one of those? Okay, wonderful. Moving right along, item 4, agency and staff reports, and we'll have the school come up, please.
Good afternoon.
Good afternoon.
And thank you for moving us up ahead of your next presentation. I do appreciate that.
We try to be as helpful as we can when we can.
I appreciate it. So it looks like we're on pages 61 through 64 in your packet. It looks like there's a lot of items on here. And so I will lead with, we are not asking for any new money. It is carrying things over mostly from FY25 to FY26. So I'll start on page 61. I'll give an overview of those items, but then I'll be happy to answer any other specific questions. And so the carryover is a result of the first large amount is the All in Virginia grant, was a 3-year grant from VDOE, and we still have some monies to spend by the end of the fiscal year. And then we have a section of federal awards that we are allowed to carry over certain portions of those. We have an insurance. Oh, there's another piece that Karen just pointed out, the 3,500 that is specific to Mosley Architects and the amount that we have left to be billed for the master plan study when we first did that a few years back, carrying that over to pay for their last invoice when we do receive that. Next section on titles, those are federal awards. I think I said that we are able to carry over those amounts. We have some insurance refunds based on some work that we had done to vehicles. The MPSRGS is the Middle Peninsula Summer Regional Governor School. We are taking over the fiscal agent and operation of that and hosting of that for the next 2 years, and then it will rotate to another school division. So those monies come into us from Matthews County. And then the last section, the Excellence in Co-Teaching Initiative, is a grant from VDOE that we received for 2 of our 8th grade teachers. So I'm happy to answer any questions on this first supplement request.
Any questions?
Starting at very on page 61. On page 61, where you have, school fund balance, $67,654.41. Where's that money at?
That's that's from the All in Virginia grant from the Department of Education. It was a 3-year grant and it has to be fully expended by June 30 of 2026. That's the amount we have to spend out for this year.
But where's it at?
Where is it at? Yeah, it's in the county
In the
fund.
county
So-
funds.
Right. And it has to be appropriated to us for FY26. Yeah.
Okay, so that 67,000 is in county funds. The reason
Oh, wait. It's not, it came from the Virginia Department of Education. Bookkeeping wise, it has to be appropriated to us for the next fiscal year.
it's appropriated, so it's not there. So we got to put the funds,
No, you've already gotten it from the Virginia Department of Education.
but we don't have it in the treasurer.
Yes. Yeah.
It's in
it
our
was a
treasurer.
$316,000 grant. Yeah.
Okay, you
It's
know,
only a bookkeeping.
right, it's a bookkeeping thing, you know,
Yes. Yep.
you know, but we, you know, my treasurer report didn't say it was $67,600 some dollars there. Now, I'm not saying it's not there. I just want to make sure that it's there and we're not appropriating something and waiting on something.
No, it came, I think it was 316,000 and some change. This is year 3 of the grant. This is
Okay.
the remaining funds. But it came from VDOE all in one lump sum. And so each year we've been appropriating the remaining balance until it's spent down.
So y'all making it simply complicated, and okay. I'm just trying, well, I don't care about DO or what you call it, but what I'm looking at, you know, I'm thinking about in the money, where is it at? You know, how we use it, because if it's already there, it's sitting there not doing anything, but y'all waiting on it, you know, and I don't know if we accumulate anything on that money or not. We can't invest it or do anything to it. So if we looking at money that we got sitting in our treasury, that if you all telling me there's nothing we can do with that money, if I find that pretty interesting, because all of a sudden it's just like I give you money and say, don't spend it to so-and-so, and you got to leave it there and do nothing. I just don't know. I just happen to just look at it, and I'm just wondering, because I know some strange things. We're looking for some strange times coming up, and I want to make sure we have the money, that whatever we do, that the money is sitting there. So you did answer my question. You said the money is in our treasurer.
Right. And we planned on it for 3 years of additional tutoring and things like that for in the classroom. What we didn't do is spend $300,000 on 1 year just to spend it, because we had 3 years to spend it. And so we balanced out what we could do in the classrooms over a 3-year period. This is the money to get us through until June.
So the plan is, in a 3-year period, we're gonna spend this money
Yes.
to help somebody, and we see a reflection, something when it moves. So when the taxpayers or whoever get the money can see actually that we are helping kids at this particular time. That's all I'm concerned about, is that money we have, not so much that what the state and government is getting. At this level that we at, we're a small community and everything, and I just figure that we want to make sure we see it. You know, we don't see it. And when I say we, I'm talking about me. I ain't talking about everybody else that see it, okay? So I'm just talking about me. You know, if I don't see it, maybe a whole lot don't see it, but I just had to ask that question. You say it's already there, so no problem. So that's
And it-
separated. There ain't no other fund that we have, because we can, if we're not allowed to put that money in no other fund, it's got to be sitting there.
Yeah, this is all
That's
state and federal
interesting.
funds. It's no local funds.
Right,
And-
right.
yeah.
It's interesting when I'm told that I got money to hold and I can't do nothing for money that I got for 3 years. That get interesting to me. It's very interesting to me. I don't care what they've done in the past. I'm saying that part is very, and I'm not picking at y'all. I'm gonna let you know right now, I'm not. I'm looking at money in one place that we have, that we are not doing anything to it. And, and I think we could be spending, spending if we get something from $300,000, even if you invest 1/3 of it, you say we can't do it because government don't allow us to do it. But, that get very interesting too, because it's in somebody's pocket. Now you're gonna tell me I can't do nothing with it. I just want to make sure that we got in our treasury. That's all I want. That's all.
Yeah, we submit plans and updated plans to VDOE for this funding when we first received it, and then as we've continued to update it. So it's, yeah, VDOE knows what we're doing with it.
Yeah, but I'm thinking, but if you got it in your hand, it's still our money. Once they give it to us, it's our money. VDOs are a bunch of people just like we are. And C2, I just don't like the idea saying we gotta leave it there and do nothing with it. That's all I'm saying.
We can't leave it there and do nothing with it. Yeah, like I said, we had to put in a 3-year plan when we received the money.
And we have to spend it for
Mhm.
that one.
Yep.
Okay.
Any further questions, Mr. Williams?
No, they just put it.
Okay. Anybody else have any questions? Then it would be in order for a motion for FY 2026-4 to approve the supplement request.
I make a motion that we approve the budget supplement request form FY 26-04.
Motion made by Mr. Jesse.
No, I was going to do the second one, which would be on page 63. So 61 and 62 is all the same thing. I was going to let you vote on that one and then go into 63 just because it's a little bit different. What you've got on page 63.
Well, actually 61.
So on 61, I think I'm all right on page 61. 61 it's what's coming in to be appropriated. And then that goes all the way over to 62 on how the funding is spent.
Yes,
Mhm.
So
And then
we have-
63
we
is
have-
a different one.
we're gonna approve the second one secondly. So the first one, there's a motion by Mr. Jesse. I need a second. Second by Mr. Bill Harris. Any further discussion? Seeing none, roll call, please.
Mr. Crittenden,
Yes.
Mr. Jesse,
Yes.
Mr. Williams,
Yes.
Mr. Bill Harris.
Yes.
Mr. Don Harris.
Yes. So FY 2026-04 has been approved. Moving along, I think the next one for you is 2026-05, correct?
That's correct.
Continue.
Yes. Okay. So the first 6 items on there, the titles all the way down to the 2 IDEAs, those are all federal funds. This is appropriation of the actual amounts. And then the next 3, basic aid down to CTE equipment grant, our state funding, again, it's the actual amounts. And so when we do the budget for FY 26, the state doesn't have those exact numbers. They ask us to use what their actuals are, for example, for 2025. And then any other guidance they give us on if they expect the numbers will increase or decrease, that's how we build the budget on that. And then at this time of year, they give us what those actual awards are. And so if we need to make adjustments, this is where you see the adjustments.
Wonderful. Questions? Everyone good?
I'll make a motion that FY 2026-05 be approved.
Under the budget supplement request.
Right.
And I need a second.
Second.
Motion made by Mr. Crittenden, second by Mr. Williams. Any further discussion? Seeing none, roll call, please.
Mr. Jesse,
Yes.
Mr. Williams.
Yes.
Mr. Bill Harris,
Yes.
Mr. Crittenden,
Yes.
Mr. Don Harris.
Yes. Motion's approved.
All right, very good. Any other
Anything
questions
else?
on any? We do not have anything else. As long as you do not have anything else, then we can move on.
I may have something else.
Okay.
Karen, are you staying for the presentation on the software? That's all I needed to know. Thank you very much.
All right.
All right.
Thank you all.
Thank you. Okay, Agency and staff reports, the ERP presentation, Edmonds and Affinity. Who wants to go first? All right.
Well, let me just grab my PowerPoint here. First of all, let me catch up to speed. As we discussed at the last board meeting, following a very comprehensive year-long project, including an evaluation of various system capabilities, implementation strategies, the ERP Review Committee is recommending pursuing a best-of-breed approach for selecting a ERP, the Enterprise Resource Planning Software System. The best-of-breed approach will allow us to select and integrate the strongest available software for each of our various functions. The two software systems that we are recommending to complement one another will include Edmonds to do basically the financials, the payroll, the permitting, and the purchasing, and Avinity, which is a strong tax and revenue only software. We have invited both vendors to provide brief presentations highlighting their key functions and their functionalities. And before we do that, I would like to kind of show you what we do. Let me see if I can't drag this over here. Do a little slideshow. I think it's important that you know where we are. And this isn't interactive, this isn't live, this is just a PowerPoint of, hey, Anne Marie, what's our account look like? So this is our main screen when we go in. And I say, well, you clearly want general ledger. So by the way, we don't have all these modules. We don't use depreciation. We don't have purchasing. We don't use human resources. We don't own that. We don't have fixed assets. So not all this is nice, but we don't have all that. Anyway, so I select general ledger and I say, okay, I know what I want to do next. I want to go into an account. I want to look on my account. So I'm going to select number 1. Then I'm going to select number 14. I'm going to inquire into the chart of accounts. And I'm sure had you seen these screens, you would have figured that out automatically. All right, then from here, I'm going to pick my company number, and I'm not going to cheat and tell you my password, but if I did, I'd get in right here. And I would type in the general ledger number, this 12010, that's my account number. That's the county administration office. And I just picked a random number so we could get there. We get there, and you can see that happens to be the VRS account number. That's not what I'm interested in though. So I scroll down and I put a 7, which as you see is display year-to-date inquiry on professional services, which by the way, isn't what I actually did. You'll see the next screen, because what I picked was 3006, which is printing and binding. And because that's really what I was interested in. And when I'm looking at this, I say, whoa, my budget was 400. My year-to-date was 7,200. What on earth? This was me when I saw it, by the way. What did I do? So I would like to know what that $7,200 is, right? Oh, you can't do that from here. You're at the end of the screen. You have to go all the way back to the main menu. You remember the main menu we saw when I first opened this, and I've now got to go into another silo, which is called the accounts payable directory. I'm going to go into, strangely enough, inquiry 1099 reports. And from there, I'm going to go to inquiry open and paid. And from there, you're going to hear, because every time, by the way, sorry, but every time I always hit the wrong password on this one because it's got a different password. That's when I get the unauthorized access error. Eventually I will get here. I will type in right here that same account number. You recognize it ended in 3006. That's my department. I keep wanting to hit enter because in my world, I'd be hitting enter right here. And this is what I get. Huh. Those are all the accounts, all the pay that have been through this account forever from 2017, 18, 19, 25. I think, okay, well, let's look at what that is. So I'm going to hit a 5 right there with the detail. And it's going to say it's Civic Plus. And I say, oh, cool. Let's find out what that is. Oh, that's the end of this line. Now I have to go to the paper files to find that invoice or go to Microsoft Access and see if it's been scanned in yet. Either way, there is no access from where I backed up a page from where this is to find out what the invoice is. You saw the end of the line for both accounts payable and general ledger. So next I want to run a report. So once again, I back out to the main menu, back to the general ledger menu, all those screens you saw. This is important because where do I go? From here, I pick this. I get print budget reports, and I think I pick number 2 here. And who knows what this means, right? Not a clue. When it says reports format, you put a J. No idea why, but that's what you put there. And then you get a report that looks like this. You will get this report pretty much every time, no matter what you do, because that's what comes out of the system. Has that been 2 minutes? My goal was to do this in 2 minutes. And I want to show you that in these 2 minutes, you saw what our system is missing in a modern day accounting system. Dashboard interaction, an intuitive interface, data summaries, drill down, and ease of reporting. Drill down would be when I saw that that invoice was to Civic Plus. I would have liked to have gone to see what was that for? What did it say? So, anyway, that's my account says stop. My notes say stop here, so I'm going to stop here and go on to the next. At this point, I guess I'm going to turn it over. Let me escape out of this, and you don't get to see any more of that. And I'm going to turn it over to my two vendors. Let's pull them over. We've not done this before, not like this, where I've actually allowed the vendors to do a presentation of what they'd like to do. So, Ross, are you here? Would you like to give a little intro? Or y'all remember Ross? He was here at the last meeting.
Hi, everyone. Happy to give an intro. We do have our two vendors here. Mark, actually, I'm not going to try to say your last name. Sorry, buddy. But Mark with Edmunds. I believe John Ray is also on the line with Edmunds, and we have Leaf Agard from Avenity. Believe that we wanted Edmunds to go first. Is that correct, Anne Marie?
Yes, that sounds right. Do you want me to pull up their PowerPoint? Or are they going to pull up their PowerPoint?
Do they have, excuse me, do they have
They can share the screen, yeah.
screen sharing capability? Then no, they can drive.
Okay.
Okay, thanks, team. Go ahead, Mark.
Beautiful. Thanks, Ross. Yeah, my name is pretty brutal, so it's Mark Przyspolkowski, super long last name, but I'm the regional seller for the state of Virginia. I'm actually in Virginia right now, so I apologize if you hear background noise. I'm in a hotel room. I'm at the Virginia GFOA in Charlottesville as we speak. And then with me, as he mentioned, is our VP of Sales, John Ray, and then my coworker, Connor Whelan's also on the line from Edmunds. So let me share my screen. And can everybody hear me and see the screen here?
Yes.
Yes and yes.
Awesome. So the goal for this is to just do a quick, just company high level overview of who we are, what we're about, what we have to offer. And then I'm going to pass it over to my coworker Connor, and he's going to drill into some of the issues and things that were just touched on, drill down capabilities, efficiencies, dashboards, all that from the software side. We'll go at a super high level as well. But I think numbers are important. If everybody in the room isn't familiar with Edmunds, this kind of paints a good picture of where we stand today. We're currently in 30 states. We're inching up to 2,300 customers in those 30 states. We have 40 Virginia customers as we speak today. And close to half of those 40 customers are BAI Bright Migrations, which is the platform and software you're currently on. So we're extremely familiar with what the process would look like to convert and transition the county over to Edmunds GovTech. We are located in New Jersey, but we do have satellite offices in Pennsylvania and Raleigh, North Carolina. We're still family owned and operated for 50 plus years at this point, which is pretty cool for as much as we've grown and expanded over this course of time. We only sell the software to local government entities like yourself too. And in my opinion, the most important part of this entire slide is those bottom two bullet points. It kind of ensures you that once you are live with us, we're with you for the long haul here. So 99 client retention rate. And a couple of reasons for that is we put a lot of emphasis on the end customer like yourself. We have, as of last week, 232 employees at Edmunds, and close to 80% of those employees are dedicated to two different departments, one being customer support and product development. So we're always supporting our customers, trying new ways to interact and communicate with our customers, improve KPIs and response times. But more importantly, the system's always evolving and improving with product development. So the system and demonstration that you see today and the staff saw previously is only going to improve over time. We do quarterly updates. as I mentioned, huge emphasis in the state of Virginia too. You can see a couple of the customers here, which we highlighted. The most recent is actually Smith County. They just went live with finance 2 weeks ago. But you can see a list. I just provided a couple here. Carroll County, Buchanan County, BAI. So, but you can also see a couple of the smaller towns, like Urbana Town in Middlesex County, is relatively close to you guys as well, that migrated over to Edmonds. So the system's extremely scalable depending on who you are, population sizes, which specific modules you go forward with as well. And I like showing this because it really does show the entire array of solutions Edmonds GovTech offers. We have over 30 different integrated modules. Your staff has done a great job of obviously identifying which ones are going to be a fit initially, which is a hyper focus on the financial super suite, the code enforcement and permitting, and the personnel suite. But I also like to show this too, because this is how our staff is essentially assigned at Edmonds. So when your county calls in with a support question, you're going to be ensured that you're going to speak with a support finance expert when they get a finance question. And then same thing goes depending on the modules that they have questions throughout that time frame. And also keep in mind too, this shows the different user experiences that somebody at the county might occur when they interact with our software. So what I mean by that is hypothetically the code enforcement and permitting solution, there's ancillary pieces that the county has interest in adding on, like the online permit application. Somebody has the ability to request a permit online, not only request it, but also make a payment through our WIP portal. So we can grow with you. There's certainly, you're not requesting and going into all these specific modules, but we can grow over time with you too. And then the modules that are quoted for you, the cloud hosted environment, financial super suite, the financial dashboard, which I know that was a big talking point, where we're going to show you that. We're actually going to start with that today in the product demonstration. It's an extremely good tool, especially for everybody in the room there. Before meetings like this, we can really narrow focus on the financial data without even going into the back end of the system too. Pre-requisition approval process before POs are generated, the full personnel suite, HR, payroll, ESS, the AR and business licensing, which is specifically tied into the code enforcement and permitting module, and then the online permit application that I just referenced. And then a couple of advantages. More so than anything, you can see in that prior screen, we're not new to this space by any means, 50 plus years. We're not new to Virginia. But when you start talking about our software specifically, the big thing you can hear is the integration component. The no more duplicate entries, everything flows back into the GL and the financial super suite. Your auditor will be happy, full complete audit trail, who makes changes when, and you'll be able to report upon it. User setup and security, everybody's a little bit different. Everybody's going to interact with our software a little bit differently. So during the implementation of this software, we'll define the roles and specific use cases with the software depending on who you are. There might be somebody that only wants read-only access, and other individuals that might be what we call super users, who has full access to our entire system. But for the most part, the system's extremely scalable, as I mentioned. And then more so than anything, the thing that separates Edmonds from a lot of other vendors out there are those bottom two bullet points. Upgrades, consistent upgrade path, quarterly updates, always improving, always getting better. We actually get those enhancements from our current customers, from ideas. So that's always consistently happening throughout the course of the year. And then support. We put a lot of emphasis on how we interact with our customers, whether it's post go live, the implementation process itself. We actually just did our first national user group in person for our customers, where if you guys were a customer hypothetically now, you could have attended that in Charlotte, North Carolina. So we've had users that were there that have utilized our system for a year, and other people have utilized it for 20 to 30 plus years. So not only do you have the ability to interact with those individuals in a setting like that, but also the individuals at the Edmonds GovTech team, whether it's developers, support reps that they're consistently calling in, speaking to on a daily basis. So I just wanted to touch on a couple of the advantages. I'm not sure if anybody else has any other questions. Just want to do a super high level overview. Hopefully that kind of painted a good picture on the Edmunds GovTech software itself before I pass it over to my coworker Connor. Did anybody have any questions on that portion of the presentation?
No, sir, continue.
Awesome. So Connor, I'll stop sharing my screen and pass it over to you.
Yeah, wonderful. Thank you, Mark, and good afternoon, everybody. We really appreciate you allowing us the opportunity to present our software today. As Mark mentioned, my name's Connor, and I'll walk us through a brief product demonstration. And what we're going to start with today is our finance view located out on the web that's going to take your financial information within the base Edmunds system and format it into customized reports here. Now, because it's out on the web, that means you'll have on-the-go access. You'll be able to retrieve this information from a home computer, a laptop, a tablet, or a cell phone. And from here, as a super user, as I am on my demonstration profile, I could look at expenditure information. Maybe I'm curious about revenue-based information or general ledger-based information. Maybe I want to look at my budget if I'm preparing for the next year's budget. All of that information would be available for me to see. But beyond just having full access, I can have user-defined access. So if I, as a user, only needed to see a few key reports, maybe I don't need to see every single tab available to me, that access could be set up. I could be a board member, department head. As a department head, maybe I need access to expenditure, but within that range, only accounts relevant to my department. Per user login. So as a current user in this dashboard, I have some budget versus expense reports, some expense breakdowns, and most of these are graphical. But I also can have tabular-based reports. If I just want to see things by the number, maybe I'm fond of Excel or used to working in Excel, I also can have this view supported for me. Of course, with our tabular-based reports, we do have the capability to export to CSV or to Excel functionality. So if I need to see more granular information to be presented to me, I have the capability to do so. Now, there's more than meets the eye with this dashboard. Two other features I want to bring up are the idea of threshold alerts. As a department head, instead of me needing to log into this dashboard, which I could, and it could be security driven, or reaching out to someone in the finance department, if I want to know where I'm at with budget utilization, this dashboard can notify me. It can let me know when I reach 30%, 50%, or 70% of budget utilization. And with the idea of automation, we can take it a step further. We have the ability to do something we consider timely reporting. I can decide the report or reports, the person or people, and the time basis these reports should be sent out at. Is it a monthly report for my board meetings that I need sent and refreshed with updated financial information? Is it a managerial report to get me to caught up on my week that I have sent every Friday? This viewpoint dashboard would have the capability to handle those needs for me. Before we move on to the permitting piece and how residents could apply for permits online, does anyone in the room have any questions on the viewpoint dashboard reporting tool I'm showcasing currently?
Doesn't appear so. Continue on, please.
Yes, sir. So for our residents, we will be able to offer, or for your residents, we will be able to offer the ability for them to apply online for their various permits and also pay invoices. So as a resident, when I want to apply for a permit, on my online permit application page that again is available out on the web. So on-the-go access for residents, home computers, laptops, tablets, or cell phones. I can come over to my permit management and select to apply for a permit. We have it outlined in 6 easy steps for your residents and contractors. They shouldn't need a computer science degree to be able to apply for a permit. I can search for my property, maybe 123 Main Street, or I can have properties associated with my account. Maybe I own multiple, or I'm a contractor working on multiple. I can choose to apply as either a homeowner or as a contractor. And then I have the option to choose from my different permit types. So within my different permit types here, we could have your pool permits, your fence permits, zoning permits, anything of the sort would be available online for your residents to be able to apply for. For example, when I select a pool permit here, information relevant to that permit type is populating for me. Maybe a notice to contractors, any documents that I think residents would need access to. And I also can have a questionnaire that they're able to fill out. Maybe they need to fill out a description of work, or lot size. Is this going to be an in-ground pool? And more. All of those questions will transpose their answers to our base admin system, where the permitting staff will be able to review that information. We also can have documents included during the submittal phase. Blueprints, plans, copies of contractor like for them to submit can be submitted through here. This can be optional or mandatory. Now, as a resident, after I've applied for my permit, if it's been approved, I have the capability to also pay online. Under my invoices area here, I could see the invoice I have to pay. I could click a link that'll bring us out to our online payment portal. I could see the exact invoice I'm paying. In this case, it's invoice 2263, and it's for permit 2232, and then I could make that payment. I would again like to reiterate, this is our admin's payment portal. So payments made through this payment portal will no need to create journal entries or track down said payments. Do we have any questions over the online permit application portal or the capability to utilize online payments?
Doesn't appear so. Continue, please.
Sure. The next area I'd like to showcase is a report directly within our system. This report does a great job of showcasing our drill down capabilities. It's called our detail expenditure year analysis report. It's basically your budget versus your actual. And in the introduction, we talked about the ability to drill in. So now if I want to see what's happening on an account, populate. It'll show me any checks cut in against an account, any transfer ins, transfer outs, or journal entries against it. I also would then be able to see further, drill down, see the journal entries automatically created by a check being cut or the life of that payable. Who entered it, who approved it, and who cut the check for it. That's what I had on my docket to showcase today. Is there anything else we'd like to see?
I think we're good. Thank you for your presentation.
Wonderful. Thank you so much for the time. I appreciate it.
Okay, Ms. Riccardi.
Sorry, Mr. DeFall can take it on to introduce the next.
Yeah, we'll introduce Leif with Avinity. Edmund's team, thank you very much. Feel free to drop.
Thank you.
Thank
Appreciate
you.
Thank you.
Anne Marie, Ross, thank you so much for the introductions there this afternoon. I am seemingly having an issue with my camera, so bear with me today. But again, thank you very much for the board for your time as well. Can everyone see my screen and hear me?
We can.
Yes.
Very, very good. I understand that I have a 15-minute window this afternoon, so I will be respectful of everyone's time. So first and foremost, who are we? Avinity has been providing billing and collection software solutions to Virginia municipalities since 2005. I know our evaluation committee heard me say many, many times that Avinity does understand the Virginia tax code and the ever-changing day-to-day operations of elected officials, being that we are exclusive to Virginia tax. We truly do believe, that our software suite enables users to effectively use the best tools available to increase revenue generation. And that's really through the mediums of increased collections, reduced training, utilization of our taxpayer portal, which I'll conclude our demonstration today with, and of course, allowing both respected offices to allow their users to focus on high impact tasks. So, as the committee is aware, our proposed solution to Middlesex County is threefold. What we call County 1 is comprised of three primary modules. First and foremost, that is Revenue 1. Revenue 1 will be utilized by both the commissioner as well as the treasurer's offices, and it was designed specifically based on Virginia tax code. Pardon for the background noise there. Second to that is Cash 1. Cash 1 was built to seamlessly integrate into Revenue 1. Cash 1 will be utilized exclusively by the treasurer's office for taxpayer collections. Last but not least is our County 1 taxpayer portal, which is the public-facing extension of Revenue 1, utilized by your citizens and businesses alike for online taxpayer self-service. A good place to start is to understand what County 1 isn't. And County 1 is not a financial system or cashiering solution that was later modified to include just basic assessment and collection functionality, resulting in a flavor of software for the state of Virginia. County 1's smart. County 1 is smart because it understands the Virginia tax code. By smart, I'm implying accurate calculations of PPTR. It understands proration for those localities that prorate personal property. It also understands the respected tax relief programs recognized here within the state. County 1, we like to say that it works for you and not the other way around. County 1 queues up work for various users, so they don't have to maintain any sort of to-do list or do exhaustive searches across the system to have basic follow-up. Lastly, it's easy to use and use all day long. And once you know one tax type, you can work them all. Okay, being exclusive to taxation, we like to say that County 1 fits into your environment. By fitting in, I know we had some conversation with both the committee as well as Ross and Kate at Barry Dunn regarding interfacing. In our proposal to the county, critical interfaces are indeed included. What we consider critical interfaces is, of course, a interface into CAMA for mass appraisal within the commissioner office. Obviously, an interface into a newly proposed financial and GL solution, as well as a credit card merchant of choice for the treasurer's office. In addition to what we call critical interfaces, you'll see many recognizable entities there on the screen. These are interfaces that simply come out of the box to be utilized by the respected offices as proposed. So things like connections or interfaces to DMV. Examples would be vessel valuation for boat assessment information, JD Power, a big topic of conversation over the last couple of years, to include interfaces such as the VEC, VA tax for debt set-off, third-party lenders, collection agencies, etc. Okay, on the screen here, you see our growing list of business partners across the Commonwealth. As you know, we serve localities both larger and smaller than Middlesex County. Of course, the largest is Prince William County, the smallest being the city of Lexington. The left-hand column there is our current installations in the state. The second column is those that are currently in our production queue, all of which have been kicked off. Augusta actually just started today.
Wait, if you have to excuse me, okay, there it is. We're when you transition slides, we're lagging behind quite a bit.
Okay. So Ross, what do you think? Just give a few seconds between each transition.
Yeah, that may be helpful. Yes.
Okay, very good. Can you hear me now, Ross?
Yeah, we can certainly hear you fine. Just the transition isn't very smooth.
Okay.
If this continues, and is it possible to pull up the PDF that you shared too?
Yeah,
Just
sure.
that.
Absolutely.
Okay.
Absolutely. Okay. Again, we like to say the system works for you and not the other way around. Our clients continually say that our County One applications are easy to use and use all day long, gives them the ability to collect more revenue, provides better taxpayer service, easy to extract information, helps cut costs. As the committee is fully aware, it does provide very robust user-friendly reporting to be accessed by established user permissions. And of course, they're provided by a Virginia company that takes supporting its clients seriously.
I'm sorry to interrupt. Can we have the other screen? Because on our end, we cannot see it. It's not clear at all. The transition is still there. Can we have it in PDF or something else?
Sure. Let me see what I can do very quickly here.
Thank you.
I think I can pull it up if you can't.
If you give me 1 second, I can find it. I know I just sent it over to Ross. Okay.
There it is. Oh,
Any better?
yes, so far.
All right. Excellent. Okay. So we like to say that County One grows with you. Just because our team developed County One from the ground up back in 2005, we say our work is far from being over. We continue to listen and refine based on the changing needs of Virginia localities. And hence, we like to say that every new client benefits from and contributes to the continual growth of County One.
Can you go back to the counties? So we haven't been able to see clearly your slides for at least 3 or 4. Could we go back to like the list that actually uses you, please?
Absolutely.
Thank you.
I can see it in the background there, and I think we're lined up now.
Yes, sir. Now we are. Thank
Yep.
you.
Yep. So kind of going back here, that left-hand column is our current installations across the Commonwealth. That second column, those you see in bold and italics, are the ones currently in our production queue. And like I mentioned too, we started Augusta as of today. Were there any other questions that you missed along the way during the transition?
No, sir. We just couldn't see your screen. So we were looking forward to seeing what other localities were using you. And so thank you for that
Understood.
clarification.
Understood. I can see. All right, here we are. All right, so we understand that the county would be converting away from Bright to County One. We have a growing track record in this capacity. On the screen here, you'll see the 6 localities that we have successfully converted from Bright into our County One environment. We're adding 2 more now, being Goochland as well as Augusta County, both of which are transitioning away from Bright. So if you look at our entire client list combined with our production queue, that's 20 localities. So therefore, we are about half of which, have come from their legacy Bright environment. Over the last couple of years too, we have grown our bench for data conversion and implementation. We have a few individuals now who've been working directly and indirectly in Bright systems for both over 20 years. We understand data conversion is a tall order. We understand that we have the experience to deliver this project to Middlesex County, both on time as well as on budget. Just two more slides here before I pivot and show the board our taxpayer portal. But before I do so, here are some excellent case studies for current users of our County One taxpayer portal. Two of which I do want to call out, of course, would be Clark County and Madison County. They're most similar to Middlesex in means of population. But when you start looking at annual payment amounts, annual payments totals, total user accounts, you can start to peel back and see what kind of downstream impact it can have in both the commissioner and treasurer offices alike. Clark County and Madison County have done a great job. They now both have anywhere from 23 to 32% of their entire population with unique account logins. If you can achieve such numbers in the next couple of years, we truly believe that the portal will assist in paying for itself, allowing both respected offices to focus more on high impact tasks, such as new revenue discovery, as well as increased collection rates. Okay, so per the request of the selection committee, I did want to just take a couple minutes to showcase our taxpayer portal. And I can see that it's now updated on your end as well. Very good. In respect of time, again, this is our taxpayer portal. This is the public-facing extension of Revenue One. In respect of time, I've logged in as a business just to simply showcase what the screens would look like. Both individual taxpayers as well as businesses alike will have very similar screens here on the portal. As you'd expect with any modern public-facing portal, has various account information to include balances, all the breakdowns of their established accounts within the commissioner and treasurer offices. Taxpayers have a variety of different selections that they can make using the portal on their own times. Things such as requesting change of address, reporting addition to or removal of personal property, management of prepayment plans, searching historic payment information, requesting access to other accounts, etc. So this particular fictitious business has 6 accounts here on the portal. I'm going to pick on the business license account. As expected, each account screen has the various summary information here at the top of the screen. Businesses and individuals alike have the ability to manage their own e-notifications. So notifications of tax bills are ready to be viewed. Your annual returns are now due. We haven't received them as of yet. Payment reminders, what have you. A variety of other informations here on the account screen. Businesses and individuals alike can view any outstanding receivables. Looks like this particular business doesn't have any recent payment history, though they do have a pending e-check payment. Online filings for businesses is important in this day and age. Businesses do have the ability to do their various business license online filings through our portal. This is just what they submitted in our hypothetical tax period 2020. In addition, on each account screen, taxpayers can also view any correspondence that is indeed associated. For a business license, it looks like their 2020 return has been filed. All of their accounts are indeed no longer delinquent. Businesses at that point would have the ability to obtain their business license through the portal as well. That is a very expeditious run through our portal. Barry Dunn, as well as the selection committee, they understand that we spent 5 to 6 hours together reviewing all these various applications. That was a lot of information. Does anyone have any questions?
Mr. Chairman, I have one.
I got one.
Oh, go ahead, Reggie.
Go ahead, Mr. Williams.
Look, I think you said that the system would pay for itself. So how do you project, or how do you think it's going to pay for itself over a period of time?
It has through technology and through the level of functionality available, it has the ability to pay for itself. That obviously is no set guarantee. We like to say it pays for itself because it allows your users both in the commissioner and treasurer's offices, kind of as Anne Marie demonstrated earlier, going through various account screens, to save a tremendous amount of time during day-to-day operation. That has tremendous downstream effects when you're saving time to then, one, enhance customer service, two, allows for more time on the commissioner side, perhaps for more revenue discovery, as well as more time on the treasurer's side to increase the collection rate as well. So in that breath, we like to say, it has the ability to pay for itself through leveraging the technology available in our various applications.
So basically, you're saying it's more efficient. So the more efficient you are by using the software, then the less people you need to do the same thing that we're doing now.
Not necessarily the case. Obviously, that is, on a case-by-case basis. I think efficiencies can be argued such that it could lead towards just improved workflow overall.
Thank you. You said less workload, so I get my answer. Thank you.
Any further questions?
I have a question. How about the safeguards and things like that, for hacking in the system if you want to pay online and things like that? What are they? I mean, do you have good safeguards and different things like that? Because when you try to pay online and do all the stuff like that, I was just wondering how that system stops you from, hacking or somebody get in there in your system, get your credit card.
Well, yeah, of course, when talking about credit cards, that is on the merchant side. So we discussed with the selection committee as well as Barry Dunn that we would interface with their merchant of choice. So credit card information, obviously that is protected through all the various certifications and standards through your selected credit card merchant of choice. We are simply interfacing to that.
But what about your system? And the data that's being put into your system? What security safeguards are there for that?
So we have proposed to the county on-prem hosting. So all of our applications would be hosted on the county's environment or within the county's environment.
One question I would have is, we have two different software systems that we're looking at, and how well they would interface when they have to be involved in the same transaction. For instance, if there's someone applies for a building permit, it would maybe be on one, the payment would be going through the other. Just want to make sure that these two systems would work together.
Ross, that may be something you could join in on the conversation. I know the interface that we have discussed thus far was interfacing into financial GL. I don't know, we've touched on permitting. Have we, Ross?
No, we haven't touched on permitting. We only recently received contract documentation. There's still a little ways to go as far as scoping out what some of those particular business processes look like. It's a great question, and it's something that's top of mind that we'll be discussing with your selection committee and project management team next Friday during a bi-weekly call.
Further questions? Thank you, sir, for the presentation.
Yep. Thank you for your time.
Ms. Riccardi, what else you have on this item?
It is actually one more item. Let me see if I can't pull that up. This was something I thought was rather relevant. So bear with me. I don't want to current slide. And that is, we're just looking at the one-time costs here. I wanted to showcase for you. We received 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. I thought there were 10 different options. Surprisingly, the two that we picked, and this was a unanimous, I mean, there was no question. I've got my team that was here and in the back of the room. Surprisingly, we didn't go for the Apex and the Nova and the Use It and the Illumina that were the $4.5 million to implement. I guess I know this is going, when it comes to the end of this, it's always a sticker shock, but the fact that we willingly, without question, skipped over it, even though RDA is an amazing product, everybody knows I was a Tyler user. Keystone is also a great product, but despite that, we ended up with Avenity and Edmunds. So I wanted to showcase that real quick. And I think that's all at this time. I think I made it clear, we're not doing anything today. This was to share with you, the board, what we have, just a touch on what we've been reviewing. Our next step, as Ross alluded, let me get this out of here, we're going into meetings next week, I think. Is that what you said, in 2 weeks? Maybe it's 2 weeks. To start discussing how we want to contract with these vendors in terms of timing. The timing is kind of key. I guess I could do something horrible, and that's sharing the cost of the solution. This isn't exactly for public content yet, but the cost of the solution, the implementation of Edmunds and the implementation cost of Tyler, based on their bid, is $155,000 for Edmunds, $287,000 for Avinity. The 1-year subscription fees, as you can see, is $55,000, $115,000. What your team is going to try to do is figure out, how do you want to implement that? What goes first? Because we weren't counting on, if you can see, if we did it all at once, $611,000 in that first year. That was not how we'd planned to do it at all. So do we want to implement Edmunds first, which is what this shows, and the next year do Avinity? And the only other thing I wanted to touch on, because you guys, everybody's looking at me at the implementation costs and saying, oh my gosh, that's a lot of money. That's the biggest part of the project. That's where the heavy lifting occurs. That's where they design our workflow. You saw it when Life was showing you the drop-down menus, as was, I think, column was. They were showing you the drop-down menus. Those are scaled specifically to us. So each of those is extremely important. That's where the workflow design, data migration, that's taking our junk, converting it to their data. And I'm telling you, in some place, finance has already been taking care of some of our junk, where we had probably 4 or 5 vendors with the exact same name and address, trying to clean that up. Of course, the customization, the conversion of the data, taking it from our system, putting it in the next system, and making sure that that comma in my system doesn't make it go into the wrong field into the next system. Training and change management, lots of that going to be going on. And of course, the final testing, what happens when we do a payroll run? Does it work? Does it work exactly like we all thought it would? So anyway, that's what we are going to be working on over the next couple weeks, as long as there's no pain going on right here.
I think an answer to Randy's question about making sure that they interfaces, for us to get that straight, where they should have to interface with one another before we start cutting any checks.
You are absolutely correct. I see Ross wanting to answer that as well.
I was gonna say that you're absolutely correct. I mean, Anne Marie's right. Those are conversations that we will have. Kate, and if I'm wrong, you let me know. But they are conversations that we will have, and we are going to hash out, forget about before cutting a check, before anyone puts pen to paper and signs a contract.
Right. So how that's going to look is part of the next phase of the project, but we felt uncomfortable bringing Avinity and Edmunds together. If you, the board, were saying, you know what, we didn't really want this after all, and backed us off, that's okay too. I would prefer to keep going, because I'm telling you, this project, as you all saw, is an amazing product for the 4 of us that are sitting here. Just think that this can make a difference to the data we present to you and the data we present to the public, and how we analyze it in the future. So I don't know, they're here if you'd like to ask them any questions as well.
Are there any payments that we're maintenance payments that we're making on any kind of accounting system now, or?
Yes, sir. We probably spend about $58,000 a year. I could be wrong, and I'm sorry.
That's okay, but there is a sum there we're spending.
Absolutely.
So when we carry a conversation further down the road, it might be good for us to realize that, hey.
Well, you're netting that out. Yes, sir.
Yeah.
Right. So you've got Bright. You do pay for an accounting system called Bright, $58,000 a year. And what that does is that makes them do exactly what Connor, and I guess it was Mark was saying earlier. They respond to our phone calls. They respond to our emails. They update us quarterly, make sure that when the tax rolls change, when the state tax laws or the federal tax laws change, that we have that information. So we are currently getting that type. Does that mean I got to stop? Yes, sir. So yes, that is something we pay for now, and we would pay for with the new system. So that would go away. The $58,000 a year-ish would go away.
I got a couple questions. Would you introduce or at least give the names of your committee, please?
Yes, Mr. Chairman, if I could add to that, when I see people hanging out in the back of the room, it's the Baptist in me to ask them if they want to, participate and just have anything to add. Because I know I got some calls from a couple of people on the committee saying they were really happy with the products. So I was going to invite them up to say a few words, if nothing else, but I'll leave that up to you and them.
So absolutely, let's introduce. Let's start by there's Karen Murray with the
Please
school
stand
board.
up. Stand when you introduced,
So Karen Murray with the school board.
okay?
We've got May, the
Dig.
Commissioner of Revenue.
Yes.
She was on the committee, and Treasurer Tracy. And May, did you have some, I think May might have had something she wanted to say about the software or no? Okay, she chickened out. She did before I said her. But I will say that May was the one that came into this project kicking and screaming. That might be a strong word, but I think I'm close. Okay, she admitted that's the truth. And then her team, she had her team in on these interviews. And they walked away saying, didn't know that was possible. Now I've had other software, so I knew the possibilities, but to hear somebody who had only seen Bright say, wow, I didn't know the possibilities, all of it, and she saw the possibilities of multiple vendors. It really made a difference. It made an impact for me to accept that, okay, Avinity really is that good. So, don't let the, Avinity people hear me say that, please.
Thank you, ladies. So no particular questions that y'all may have, or I'm assuming that the committee is in total agreement of the direction that you're researching. Is that correct? All right, wonderful.
Oh, and might I add that Kevin Gentry in the back of the room is also part of the committee. He's been on every
Good.
meeting as well.
Yep. So is there a potential time frame here when you're gonna come back for us to approve your project?
Yes, sir. It probably could have been December, except that, Russ, shake your head. I don't think we can do it by December. Probably January, we'll be bringing contracts forth. There's so many hands involved.
And we'd be looking at starting this in 26, 27. Is that correct?
That will all be part of the discussion process because some of these, like, for example, the Commissioner of Revenue, she can only do things on certain target times. She can only convert.
Okay.
Payroll, we can only convert at certain times. So all of that's going to be dependent. We all kind of have to, that's that hashing out that Ross was describing. Let me rephrase that. Of course, you can you can pull the plug on payroll anytime, but the best time is going to be on a January so that your new system covers your entire W-2s. So that's going to be the type of things that we're going to be discussing. When do you do payroll? Do you want to do general ledger starting the first of the fiscal year so that your new fiscal year is all on one system? So, and I think that the treasurer and the commissioner of revenue have, again, their own timeframes that they want to make us work around.
Okay, my last question is, I see, and I think the chart that was up there cost-wise gave me the answer I was looking for, but I think I'll just ask it anyway. From a functionality standpoint, I understand that each department has a little bit difference of what they need or what they want. From a cost standpoint, is having two vendors versus one vendor that would do it all, even though there may be some shortcomings. Have y'all looked at what that would be or not?
I would say we examined all of them from that perspective. Our first goal was to do a all-in-one approach. When we did the reference checks of everyone, the Commissioner of Revenue in the Treasurer's office, every one of them complained about the all-in-one options. They said the conversion didn't work and the software didn't work. And I think, I know Matt could agree with me if he was, okay, he's over there because he actually heard separately, outside of the interviews that we did, outside of the references that we did, he personally heard, don't go with this, you've got to pick up something different for the Commissioner of Revenue in the Treasurer's office. So it has been a strong advice from professionals in the field to do it as this, I'm going to call it this best of breed approach. And again, that was from our research as well. Everybody out there agreed with that research. Karen and I don't have a dog in the fight.
We were shown quite a few from the different vendors here. We were showing quite a few counties they work with. So we're going to assume that all those counties have to have two systems too. They're not able to get under
They
one
might have more
umbrella.
than two. That is correct. Now, some systems do actually, I mean, just like us with Bright. Absolutely. Bright work is one system and it works for the entire agency. It's just, excuse me, is it the best? Is it the best way to move forward? No. So you want to go with what is the best way to move forward? And that's been again, based on the committee's research, the bifold approach was definitely the best. I'm just glad we didn't have to go with a third because that would have made things a little bit even more trying for our IT department as they tried to balance this. But again, that's why I'm going with which is why I was thinking of recommending the over 2 years approach. Because I just don't know that our staff can manage.
Just seeing all those other counties and the fact we have to use two systems, I would like to see some kind of breakdown maybe from the other counties. What two systems are they using? Because
Sure.
one system is showing some counties and the other one shows some different ones. So when pick either one of the vendors, and just go through some of those counties and say, okay, you're using two different softwares to manage your county. What are you're using?
Okay, I think at one point Avenity did provide us that. Because Avenity is an odd man out because they only do treasurer and commissioner of revenue data. They don't do general accounting. We could not select them. So they are awesome at what they do. But they were the ones who said, these are the teams we've worked with in the past at the county. So I could get that from them. That's a good.
Any other questions? Okay, well, before we have to make a decision, you and I'll get together. I'd be curious to roll over the numbers a little bit.
Fair enough.
And
Okay.
Mr. Chairman, if my memory serves, we have the budget kickoff meeting scheduled early January. And this, I believe, my memory serves, is one of the major projects that you'd be scheduled to get an update on in any event.
Correct. Okay, any further questions? Thanks for everybody that did a presentation. Thanks, Anne Marie and your committee. I think y'all are doing a great job, and I think we're gonna get a heck of a lot more efficient once we get that squared away. So thank you very much. All right, moving right along, VDOT is a report only.
Somehow or another, we need to get the message to them about the stoplight down there by Harmony Grove Church. We'd have had another accident. I mean, it seems we have a lot of accidents there, and a lot of people complain about, and me included, the yellow turn flashing. People come up and challenge that, and I don't know what the answer is, but I really think we gotta get the message to VDOT. They gotta look at doing something different there.
Do you want to schedule?
I will. I'm going to invite them to the December meeting to be in person too. But I'll let them know.
Specifically for
On the
that?
light.
Yeah, we want to talk about that.
Yep. I think we're due for an update too on the multipurpose path. Shanae, will you make a note of that so I can get that request to Lee? Will do.
If you could call them or just chat with them prior to that meeting too, I'd appreciate it. Thank you.
Okay, moving right along, item 4D, social services. That's a report only. I'll just ask our county administrator, because I know he's had some discussion with Miss Morgan. Mr. Walker, where do we stand with the federal funds?
I'm glad you said the magic words. I was going to give you a little bit more of an update. From what I understand from Rebecca, and I think it's in her report, the governor has signed an emergency provision where we're covered through November. And they are actually at the state social services conference where the state and the social services directors are going to be meeting on this very subject tomorrow and coming to some conclusions. I think everybody in this room has probably heard the rumors. It's all over the news and social media that all this budget shutdown stuff is going to be taken care of as early as tomorrow after the elections. But we don't know for sure. Those are just rumors. But we are funded through November. And I have a letter that I have drafted along with Rebecca to the state that basically urges their use of state emergency funds if they need to fund SNAP. So I'll keep you posted through the month of November, but for now we're good. And rumors are it's going to be a non-issue soon.
Wonderful, great. Thank you for that update. Have you sent your letter yet?
Kind of held it in hopes that the rumors are true, that a budget shutdown will end after the election.
I don't know that it would hurt whether it ended or not. I'd send a letter. Just to show more concern from counties everywhere. Cool.
We can send it. I'll consult with Rebecca in the morning.
I'll leave that to your best judgment.
Very good.
Okay, item 4E, Bay Aging Workforce Housing Update.
They have passed out, they have distributed a handout for you. It should be in front of you.
Good afternoon. It's very nice to see you all again. I'm Kathy Vestley. I'm President CEO of Bay Aging. And we are very pleased to have worked on this project, the residences at Raleigh Park for the last, since 2021. And during that time, our job, it came about as the Middlesex Foundation handed off the project to us because they could not locate the funds to actually build this workforce housing. We worked on it, and I mean quite actively, strenuously for years. And finally, this past year, I went back to the folks who originated the project, and one of them was Neil Barber. He was very active with the Middlesex Foundation in 2017-18 in structuring the Cook's Corner Revitalization Project that led to a successful Vibrant Communities initiative from Department of Health and Community Development. Now that was workforce housing, a commissary kitchen, a brew pub, and improvements to the Cook's Corner government complex. And as we know, a variety of things have happened that have impacted those plans. But we have stayed the course. And recently I went back to Neil Barber and asked him in his capacity as president of Community Futures, if he could advise us on where to go, because so many of the funds that we had looked for, the funding was just not available, and we did not see a way forward. So asking outside eyes, outside of our staff here. And our staff here will talk to you in a few minutes. I have Josh Jamerick, who is our vice president of our housing services over at Bay Aging, our multifamily housing, but also Alan Walker, who has addressed you several times on this project. And I will allow Alan to give you the good updates, but then also I have Neil Barber, who is on the screen with you today, to talk a little bit about some of the realities, the grimmer realities of if our current hopeful suggestions don't work, what the future looks like. But we want to be thorough today and make sure you know where we stand and what we've done. And I will also be here to answer any questions you may have. So thank you for a few minutes of your time.
Thank you for being here.
Good afternoon, everybody. My name is Alan Walker. I'm Assistant Director, Multifamily Housing Development at Bay Aging. So, I mean, I guess I'll just get to it since Kathy said I'll give you some good news. So on the very back page of the handout that I gave you is a timeline of the project from 2017, when it started with Neil and the Middlesex Foundation, to when it transitioned developer responsibilities to Bay Aging to now. So as you can see, in 2019, the construction bid was $4,149,000. Currently for this year, we've got one at $5,818,470,000. That makes sense because construction costs are high, but that also goes through COVID, that goes through everything else. So it is consistently getting higher. And the longer this project goes on, the more expensive it gets, the more money that we need to find. Under submitted and planned applications, you can see that we actually have a rundown of applications that are either that have been submitted and that we're waiting on awards or just award notifications or non-award notifications, not to say that we're going to get them, but it's a competitive process, or ones that we're planning to do in the future for next year. So it's, roughly $900,000 from the Virginia Department of Housing Community Development. We've got 250 that I'm waiting on from the Mary Morton Parsons Foundation. Cabell Foundation is for the beginning of next year, just due to their capacity this year. Virginia Workforce Housing Investment Program is one that we applied for last year, and it has to do with the jobs that were created in Virginia, and they have to be a certain amount of distance from the location. It was a pilot program that did not quite cater to this area and the job announcements, so they revised it for this round, and it's way more favorable for us this year. So that is due on Friday, so I'll be submitting that on Friday. Virginia Housing Pilot Program, which is the one down at the bottom that I kind of want to talk about a little bit here. That is something that has come about very recently. Virginia Housing, this pilot program, it doesn't even really have a name. It just happened. And so this is workforce housing money in rural areas for communities that have rents under certain AMI levels. It is something that is kind of geared towards us. They've not done this before. It's a pilot program, but we were invited to apply for it. So we would be the first ones. Now, this is not a grant. This is a loan. And it's a low interest rate loan, but it is a loan. Moving that forward, all of the money that we have already through Virginia Housing and the River Counties Foundation and the Jesse Ball DuPont Fund, if you mix that with all the things that we have submitted and are going to submit, that puts us in a really good spot. It puts us in a position where we are just about shovel ready. This project doesn't need anything else. The plans are done. Everything is completed. So we are just waiting on funding for construction. That being said, if one of these drops out, one of these $900,000 grants drops out, that puts us in a really rough position because in August of 2026, we start to lose funding. We start to watch the money that we have awarded get taken back because we haven't used it in a certain amount of time. So as Kathy was saying, we were working with Neil to try to figure out, what would be a good path forward. Is there a path forward? What can we do that we're not doing? And we kind of came to the realization that there really isn't. We are hunting down as much money humanly possible for what we are looking for. We have applications out there for everything that works for this project. We've tapped everything that we can. And so this is kind of like the last stand for Bay Aging in looking for funding for the project. It's getting to a point where things are now getting more expensive. It costs more for us to do this. That bid's going to go up the more time goes on. So I want to introduce Neil Barber so that he can talk to you about his report as well. Neil, are you there?
Yep, I'm here.
Hey, look, it's Neil. Neil, if you want to give everybody just a quick rundown of, your report, your findings and how you got to that conclusion.
I'll be glad to. Yeah. Thank you so much, Alan. And good to be before the Middlesex Board of Supervisors again. It's been a number of years since I've been before you all. As Alan has described, I was engaged in the project early on and had helped the Middle Peninsula Planning District Commission submit an application which was not funded to VHDA for a regional housing initiative, which would have provided another $900,000 to the project. But Kathy had invited me to take an independent review of the the possibility of funding the viability of the financing of the project as it was structured. As Alan has outlined, the project is a multi-layered, multi-funded project from a variety of public and foundation sources. Currently, the total project cost, while the construction, the total project cost is about $6.5 million, there, of which there's about $3 million that have been currently committed. That leaves about a $3.5 million gap to be filled in the financing. Alan had indicated they do have current grant applications out for a significant portion of that, but that still leaves a significant amount of funding that needs to be raised in order to go to construction on this project. And as Alan has there. So my task was to review the funding sources that are committed already to see what their longevity was. And as Alan has said, some of those expire in the near future. And to review other potential funding sources that could be made available. As Alan had indicated, the review of that, based upon the way the project is designed, there is very limited sources of funding that is available. If the project was restructured significantly, in terms of the number of units and the target income population, it could potentially be eligible for low-income housing tax credits, but it would require a total overhaul of the project and would require another couple of years in terms of doing that. In that time period, we would expect cost to rise, and Bay Aging would need to put in considerable additional staff time and consultant time in order to accomplish that. So at the present time, that is not a realistic opportunity for the short term. And Alan had also mentioned just recently, within the last couple of weeks, the opportunity for the VHDA Rural Workforce Housing Initiative to be launched gives us a ray of hope. And I say that that it could come to fruition within the next few months. So for the project to be financially feasible, all of the current funding sources that are pledged to it would need to be able to continue, and that all of the currently sources that have been applied for, all the applications out there would have to be funded, and you would have to have some additional support through the pilot project and possibly from the local EDA. So my advice to Kathy and Bay Aging is that, proceed with the current applications that they've got for the next few months. And if those do come to fruition, then there's a real possibility to go into to construction early part of, or I should say, latter part of next year. But if those do not materialize within the next several months, then my advice would be to relinquish the sponsorship of the program to the county or to the foundation or to another developer that could pursue the project. Yeah.
Thank you, Neil.
I'm looking at your handout sheet. I have a quick question. Submitted planned applications, you got Virginia Department of Housing and Community Development, 900,000. I'm not sure what the 925, was that good through 925?
That was the day I submitted it. It was September of 2025. I was just trying to give you some kind of a
Okay, so
date.
that none of those dates that I see there are expiration.
No, I apologize for the confusion. Those are just those are months that I applied for them so that you could see that these were done this year and the ones that were moving forward into next year.
And you have Middlesex EDA authority on here. Have they pledged 100,000 for that, or is that maybe?
I have spoken to we have spoken to the EDA, and they were very they were very forthcoming in that they wanted to give Bay Aging funding for this, but it was not an official pledge.
Okay. All right.
I'm not trying to I'm not trying to hold your feet to the
Well,
fire.
and
I just
I
put
hope
it in
that-
there. They were very nice. The meeting went really well. They were really interested in the project and whatever it is that they could do. And Trent has always been Trent Funkhauser. I'm sure
Yeah.
you all know who he is.
Yeah.
Has always been very supportive of the project and Bay Aging working with the EDA to try to make something happen.
Okay, good. And I hope that happens for sure. Absolutely. They just have some other big things on their plate right now, which is why I asked that. In looking at your drawing, the conceptual drawing of the here.
Yes.
And I don't know, maybe my look at it is different. This looks substantially different than what you have right outside of Urbana,
Oh, you mean Port Town?
building
Town?
wise.
Yeah, it is. It is very different. These are actually modeled more towards Mercer Place in Kilmarnock.
Okay. Well, and you guys decide what you want to do and how you want to do it, but has there been any discussion of maybe that maybe the project needs to be redesigned or relooked at size wise? I don't know. I'm just asking the question.
No, it's a great question. Yeah, we've had this conversation internally a lot of different times.
I'm
And the
sure
way-
you have.
This building was a part of the project the way it was when we got it. So this is not our design. This is just the project the way it was conceived by the Middlesex Foundation. To change the building and to make any kind of changes to the footprint of the building is going to cost a substantial amount of money. As it is right now, the footprint of this building, if you change that, now you're going to have to change stormwater calculations. You're going to have to change a lot of stuff and it's going to cost a lot of money.
I get that, but the physical construction costs could potentially be lowered depending on the design. What? And right now you have what, a $3 million deficit at this point?
Yeah. Yes, it could. It could.
You see my reason for thought on that.
I do. But I'm not 100. Yes, you're right. There is that small possibility, but I don't know that it would work itself out to change the buildings, to pay for the engineering and architecture
I
for the
get it.
buildings and the plans, and then to do completely new studies to make this all work, because these plans were originally conceived in 2019. So
Yeah,
yes, you are correct. That
I get
could
it.
be a possibility, but the amount of work and time and money that would go into that, that it might not work out.
okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
Along that same line though, how much money do you feel confident you have? Is it 3 million or is it 5.5? Or neither one?
How much money do I feel comfortable that we have?
Yeah, I added up some figures there and I come up with like 5.5 million, but I don't know if that.
I mean, not all of these sources, so. Let's see.
Maybe a clarifying point is what do you actually have in the bank versus, because some of these aren't guaranteed, right? That
No,
are listed on the sheet at all?
None of these are guaranteed. I mean,
Okay.
They're all,
Possibility.
yeah, they're all possibilities. Awarded funding is a little over $1 million.
Okay.
Okay, because it's
So-
just misleading. I thought you had all this. That's why I was like trying to figure that out.
I apologize if it's
And
misleading.
I believe the current figure was probably somewhere around 6 million. The
Yeah,
thought
it's
process was.
$6,560,000 for total
So
construction.
you're
of
looking at over
24
200
units.
for the units and the size roughly, you're looking at a little bit over $250 a square foot.
Yeah, roughly.
And this, you're talking about two buildings like that.
Yes, it's 2 buildings, 12 units a building.
I mean, I know you say y'all looked at stuff and everything, but we constantly, it looked like we zeroed in on this apartment. And I know what you're saying about engineering, if you gotta go back and redo something. But I would say some kind of way, we could lay it out to where it looked nice and you could have designed 1,000 square foot small house and start putting them in there in a way as you had funding or whatever, and start putting them in there as individual units. And you can make them look nice. I mean, and make them look so they all have a view and turn which way and so forth and so on. Maybe a little porch on the front and a place to park the car and, whatever.
Yeah.
It just seems like you have some money, you have a whole lot of talent, and maybe a different approach. And that way your design is on one building, 1,000 square foot building. You're just using it multiple times. That's kind of where I'm at. I don't understand why that hasn't been brought up.
And you're
on this.
right. You're right. I am very talented. Thank you. I appreciate that, Mr. Harris.
Yeah.
No, so the money that we do have is towards this layout. And for us to change anything about it, to do it in phases, to do it in halves or anything like that would then negate that funding and we would have to start over. I've looked into doing tiny houses. I've looked into. Oh.
If I could add in.
Sure.
I just want to say thank you for your brilliance, because I have been arguing for the tiny houses over there. They call them small houses, tiny houses, saying they're cheaper.
Yeah.
We can go buy one at Walmart for $25,000. Why are we looking at all these millions? And then the experts come back and say, yes, but all of the water and the sewer and the electric lines, which people are going to want, are going to be a problem. But I think we've got something here.
I think it's it's all in how you, it's all in how you sell.
Well,
I think it's a great idea. I've actually explored, so when it comes to this lot, I have redesigned this thing 100 different times, trying to find a way to make it cheaper. And the building that we have now is taking advantage of every value engineering option on earth that we can make happen. I've worked very closely with our architects and engineers and everybody at Bay Design. I've looked into tiny houses. I've looked into container homes. I've looked into everything that you could think of to be. See, that's why container homes didn't work out very well, Mr. Harris, because of that face that you just made. But still, we have explored all of these options, and it does not get around the fact that construction's expensive. And even if you're doing prefab homes or modular homes, end up being very close to the square footage price that we're paying for our stick-built building. It's just expensive.
and just a comment, we're not really drilling you. Sort of. We don't want to see the project die.
I don't either.
That's why the questions that you're getting from us, have you thought about this, and this?
Yeah.
So that's kind of where we are.
I can tell you that I am the last person that wants to walk away from this or anything. I mean, to be honest, but this project in particular, I feel as if I have explored every option humanly possible, and I don't come to this conclusion lightly. And I don't like sitting here telling you that, we have a glimmer of hope because of all these things that have worked out, but if something happens, it won't work. That's just the way funding works. It's a house of cards.
Yeah.
One thing is based on something else, which is based on something else. And if one of those things falls now, we're in a position where, well, we have $1 million gap. $1 million gap is way better than $3 million gap.
Right.
But as soon as August gets here, we're going to lose more money. And so it's a race. So yeah, no, I really have. Me and Josh and Kathy have talked about this a lot.
I also know, I'm on River County Community Foundation, and, they like to see projects completion, but, with the, what's the lady's name? The Harris Fund. And with the Harris Fund, I know that, you can come back and get more every year. But you would want a target of how much you're going to get every year. I understand that. But I do know there's funding in the Harris Fund. And I'm not saying you're going to get 500,000 every year, but they like to see when the project gets started. And I don't know about Jesse DuPont. I don't know about them, but I know with the River County Community Foundation, when you get something started, they like to have it completed, and they will give you lumps of money down the road. But I know that's not going to help you right now.
Well, so in speaking about River Counties, they've been very generous with us, and that's a multi-year grant as it is anyway. And you're right. There's a lot of foundations that will give small amounts of money, but now you're nickel and diming. It takes so much to get to that point. Yeah, no, I agree with you.
But I was just letting you know,
Yeah.
there is funding that would be for that, but you need more, upfront money.
Yeah.
And I understand that. Mhm.
You know how they I guess how the system work. Y'all got to get all the grant money enough to pay for the building before y'all do it.
Yeah.
And I think if I mentioned one time before that the residents gets in it and you got revenue come from property to build the other one or another one, they keep on this multiple thing. And it seems to me nobody's making, like a private entity at 0% interest to give the money and you try some way to pay the money back. I'm not gonna tell you, the one on Mercer Place look good. I mean, you've been up here now for a good little while, and I think the fellow here too, covered. And I know she's been up, but I look at it, I accept things for what they are. We are that close, but and the way I see, we are that close, but we can't get another partner.
No.
And we can't get another partner because we don't think that another partner would lend some money that can be paid back that we're gonna use to build the other place.
Yeah.
Because y'all gonna do that, build another place. So when we are not allowed to do that, we take the partner out, even if you could find somebody, that did it for 1%, can't get money away anyway. But anyhow, give it that 1%, then you could build a place. And hey, man, I hope y'all get this project done. I like the way it looked. I see the cost has gone up. I think it was Youngkin, he was the last governor, right? When it was
Yeah.
doing the bridge. He kept on saying, do it yesterday. We should have did it yesterday.
Well,
And
hindsight's
yesterday, we
20/20.
should have did it yesterday. Well, let me tell you something. Yesterday, he was right because they couldn't make a decision but 4 or 5 years. And the project went up to 5 times more than what it went. We talking about, buildings. We talking about also a place that people can't afford it. See, we living out affordability and how it worked. And sometimes we got to make a sacrifice to help the ones that's real needed. A person getting a check all the time, feel pretty good till that check cut off. That just like, the government in a freeze, and we hope that it don't, because I already had calls that people getting SNAPs and Medicaid,
Yeah.
and they're scared to death. And I would, tell them, because some of them I know, I say, hey, man, when you was young, you didn't prepare for the cloudy day. Now, you got to wait on somebody that don't really care about you.
Yeah.
So that's the strain. Y'all keep on. I hope y'all get this extra for 900,000. If everything goes through, y'all need. If everything goes, you got on this sheet.
Yeah.
How much do y'all need?
Nothing. If everything works.
Right. That's
Exactly the way
If everything worked. Okay.
And that's the last thing you say right before something falls. But that is the truth. The Virginia housing pilot money came out of nowhere, and it's based on the relationships that we have with these places, that we've been dealing with them for years on multiple projects, that they feel comfortable enough to allow us to do stuff like this that they have not done before. And so Virginia Housing is a super great partner, very generous. And you're right, we are.
Yeah, but basically don't take any risks. That's the hard part. So some projects can't get done.
I mean, really, the $3 million loan is not a small amount of money,
But
but it is what we can do.
Yeah.
So we're going to do it. But we do need the rest of this stuff to kind of pan out. Not that it's all doom and gloom. I'm sorry. Kathy said I'd give you good news. It sounds like I'm giving you a lot of bad news. It's not how this is supposed to go. It is. We are very optimistic, but if it doesn't work out, like we're going to get to a point where we're going to have to just call it off.
I got a question. What's the time limit before you say, hey, this is you're gonna lose some of that money and everything's gonna go to.
And I would want to extend that remark if I could, but go ahead.
So these other grants, this 900,000 from Virginia Department of Housing and Community Development and the Workforce Investment Program, those are big.
Mhm.
We could lose one of those. You have a gap of $1 million. That is possible before August of 2026, which is when we're going to start losing the money that we already have. But losing them both would be tough.
Because I was just wondering, just in the back of my mind, I say, this is gonna benefit a lot of citizens in the county here. And I know we have loaned money before, but and this is something we can talk about later. If we have money that we could loan to get this thing going and get paid back over a certain period of time, that way, you still get that workforce housing here, and Bay Agency will be paying the county back in lump sums. But I mean, I'm just throwing it out there.
He says they don't want to do that. We definitely
did it.
think about doing that.
What you talking
But,
about?
but what I'm saying, I know you're not the EDA, but we loan EDA some money and we're gonna get it back. But it's all in how you do it, and you still get the workforce housing there. It's just something I'm throwing out there to look into. It may not work, but it's something out there, because I hate for us to have something here and then we lose it.
Yeah.
And then it's come back again. It's 3 and 4 times that much, but it's benefited citizens, workforce citizens in Middlesex County. And we got to look at that too. And that's something you gotta look at. Because once those homes get in there and you got people there paying taxes or whatever, and they got places to stay. Cause some of them stay in other counties. So when they stay in other counties, that's where, they shop, do everything in other counties. Some of that economic impact can come here in Middlesex County.
That's true.
Just throwing it out there.
Having
It's
your
something for us to
workforce-
think about.
Having your workforce live in the county that they work will provide funds. You're right. It's a great idea. I would be happy to discuss any of this stuff outside.
Gotta be consistent with all of us.
No, I think it's a great idea because Bay Aging and Middlesex are like two peas in a pod. And if our agency can help the county, we're happy to do it. And if we can get something from the county, then that would be great too. When I'm walking down Wayne Jesse Hallway, I'll remember this conversation. Don't worry, we got a Reginald Williams wing too. Don't worry. There's 2 buildings. Remember, there's 2 buildings.
They named a bathroom after me.
Yeah, that's right.
Got a question or a comment real quick, Mr. Chairman.
Go ahead.
Before I would see Bay Aging kill the project, if it gets that bad, I would hope that we would circle back and Bill triggered this idea with his comment, potentially redesign to a duplex townhouse, small cottage type layout that may be significantly less expensive to build, even if we had to go back and modify the design. I would add to that we may find the cost savings of doing duplexes, small cottages, things of that nature, outpace the amount of money that we would have gotten had we pursued all the federal funding and all the state funding. It may even be worthwhile with the amount of cost savings that you could achieve. I've had conversations, obviously, with our local Habitat for Humanity, and I see what they can put small houses up for. And I would just like to add, one of the reasons this design was chosen is when all this started, before the foundation, we patterned this very much after Mercer Place in Kilmarnock. As many of the board members know, I know, Wayne, how many tours of that did we take over the years? And that was in our mindset, but I would hate for us to get so laser focused on we got to do it this way that we don't think about maybe a broader, okay, well, that's just not going to happen because we're $1 million short or what have you. We'll just not do anything because, I mean, we have nowhere further to look than our campgrounds to see what they're doing with small cottages. Those are livable homes.
Yeah.
I mean, if they're built to the right building spec, they're livable year round. And they're not $5-6 million.
I think that's a good idea.
Well,
Like
it's
I
a
said-
possible idea. I just throw it out as a possibility. I still like this design. We don't have anything like this in the community that I'm aware of, other than maybe some townhomes down in Deltaville and in Whitish Creek.
Yeah.
So Godspeed, Alan.
I think it's a good idea. And like I said before, I have reworked this a lot about every way you can. And the biggest problem with redesigning is the footprint. As soon as you change the footprint, which is the overall size, that's when you run into problems with stormwater management, when you start running into problems with impervious surface. If you can utilize the square foot, like the footprint that's already there, you've kind of like, you're halfway there. So me and Ben at Bay Design, we've talked about this quite a bit. So yeah, I agree. If we get to that point and we are like this, we can't do this here, I would be more than happy to sit down with you and we could see if there is another option doing something else with different funding, but then we'd have to look into the funding that we have and see if that's even possible.
And if it was flexible enough, we may be able to find a local partner with our corporation that runs the campgrounds in our community. They have a need for employee housing as well. That may be a private partner we can look at trying to bring on board and help us with.
Wonderful. What else you got?
And that's really it. I apologize for not giving you better news. I mean, it is good news. but it's kind of like the caveat. So, I mean,
Got you. Well, thank you for keeping us up to speed on how that project's going and what's going on with it.
Thank you,
And
Mr. Harris.
Like
I
I said,
appreciate it.
as you can see, we're still very motivated on that project being completed if possible.
Well, if there is anything that the county can do, like Mr. Jesse was saying, or if you have any other outside ideas, please let me know. And we can talk about them and see how, if it would even work.
Wonderful.
Conversations are free. So
Thank y'all for coming.
thank you.
Appreciate everything.
Yeah, good to see you. Hope you feel better, man.
Do any of y'all need to take a 5-minute break? Okay, we're gonna take a 7-minute recess.
Will you send me the letter? Yes, I will copy you on it. Oh, yeah.
Good. Right. Ooh, okay.
His application this evening.
I say what?
How far along, please, you know, his application.
Reminded, we're not feeding you tonight. So we're not feeding you tonight, so enjoy what you got.
Well, I think we'll identify how many,
Okay, yeah, I want people coming in already. They're over there by the, restaurant. They were back and all these right up. They saved the spots and everything. You know, right, right. Already. That's good. That's, I did, that's great, that's great, that's great. Come on, David. I just gave you a updated. You know, mine. I don't like it.
That's fine. I didn't cut it for you. I don't have my stuff together yet. I like your.
That's, I need to speak to a manager.
With kindness. I don't know, Heather, depends on what day it is, girl. I
Make sure this is on. Yeah. Yeah, good afternoon, everybody. I have an update on the comprehensive plan that's currently underway. We kind of kicked off we've been doing this for several years now. Actually, about a year ago, we had the Berkeley group do a diagnostic. In your board packet is that diagnostic that they did or evaluation of our comp plan. Out of that document, the big takeaway, there's nothing in there that's really surprising on my part. I'm not going to go through, this is about 50 pages or so. We're not going to go through every page, but basically the required revisions that state code's requiring us to do, just from a high level area, update existing conditions data. This would be your census data, any other data related to demographics. Nothing, there's no surprise there. Update your transportation component. That has actually been sent to VDOT, and VDOT's actually got that back to me. I have to study it. So that's one off the checklist right there. There's also recent code that's been put in the past few years that the state code wants you to address manufactured housing, a little bit more detail in your comp plans. Actually, when we researched we did a lot of research on this particular component a couple, past year or so, due to some recent applications. And actually, probably our county's not in bad shape in that respect. We have I would say about 80% of our land mass supports, just a rough estimate. I know about 66% LDR, and you probably have your resource husbandry that allows it as well. So a good portion of our county actually supports and allows manufactured housing. Which is just small nodes that do not allow, like village, community, and residential. So probably to fix that component, we just basically pat ourselves on the back, I think, to some degree, and note that we do allow it in these sections, and probably look at maybe other methods to probably go forward and expand that component. Public transportation component, even their analysis, there's probably not, we need something in that realm. We do have Bay Transit, so probably just some language that supports that component. What's odd is actually they noted recent code requirements for broadband, which is we've already gotten the front side of that because we're in the installation phase of broadband in certain areas. So we could certainly get with the broadband authority to help us with language to help boost that ever-going initiative that we have. And also resiliency's become a big component of any comp plan. Our climate change and we've noticed our tides, and not just that resiliency, but also other matters that could come to be with, as far as your citizens and keeping them safe and that type of thing. So in that evaluation, there's a lot of recommendations that to add mapping in certain instances. It notes that we've addressed something that we may want to enhance, maybe with some mapping or something of that nature that we can take care of. One thing that, as through the progression of this comprehensive plan evaluation and looking at it, when we looked in the rearview mirror a little bit, up to just recently, the installation of sewer could have affected our development nodes. If you put sewer in, and that coupled with the water, you're going to naturally see more development and more pressure on your development nodes. So with that, since sewer has been delayed some time back, I don't feel we necessarily have to address our development nodes right now. I think we can leave them, or future, which is our future land use. Yeah, correct. Our future land use, that's how the comp plan addresses those future land uses. And sometimes your future land use is consistent with your existing zoning. Sometimes your future land use is suggesting that you zone to something different, like it may currently be LDR, and maybe if it's on the outskirts, the comp plan might show it going to village community or something of that nature. So your future land use map shows you what you ultimately want to be zoning at. But with that component, that reduction of that sewer and that elimination of sewer, we really probably don't have to expand those development nodes, because you're just not going to see the pressure on it for some time. Which is also, when you get into your future land use map, you're going to need a lot more community involvement, because it impacts more folks, as it could impact their properties. Where most of this that we're going to fix right now is for the most part just nuances of the comp plan, mapping. It's things that aren't necessarily controversial, and it should not require too much in the way of working things out with the public. It's mostly just tweaking some things. So, but there will be public engagement, with the.
Would any of this require us to ever establish a PSA?
Well, I was going to get to, yeah, yes, sir. So through this amendment process, we're going to be looking at this, and just as Mr. Harris just noted, last month I gave we rolled out our revisions to our site plan and subdivision ordinances related to water connection requirements. So as Ms. Lewis and we've noted on several occasions, in conjunction with that particular amendment, you have to amend your comp plan and create service districts for your water authorities. So just like Mr. Harris just said, we're going to have to amend that comp plan. And what we're going to do, because we're going to probably roll out that amendment here in the next month or so, we're going to probably do this comp plan amendment in 2 phases. We're going to take care of that particular issue, and then we're going to develop those service maps. We may fix some of these easy items that we probably need to fix, and then maybe go to phase 2 of the amendment of it and take care of the other components that more of the fluff, so to speak, in the comp plan. But it's imperative that we do get out in front of our ordinance and get our comp plan amended for these service districts. It's important. And just FYI, so to speak, the Water Authority did kind of bless the language of that amendment last month. So we'll probably be rolling that out in December to the Planning Commission. So it looks like this body may see it in January. In conjunction with that, we'll also be working on the comp plan.
Hey, Dave,
Yes,
I'm gonna
sir.
cut you off, but I was just thinking about land usage itself. When we talk about land usage, basically pay less taxes anyway, is that right?
Well,
If we put in the land usage.
yeah,
And if they can get a development on it, they only pay taxes that goes back 5 years.
well, let me kind of separate the conversation a little bit. So when planners talk about land use or present land use as well, present or future land use, that's how the land is being used. It could be business, it could be, or commercial or residential or that. When Commissioner's Office talks about land use, that's a tax program that's separate. So sometimes it's easy to confuse the 2 terms, but in our department, our world, it has nothing to do with a tax abatement or a tax program. It's a totally separate item. Land uses, for the, certain types of properties, such as farming or forestry, properties can be, qualify for the land use program and get certain reductions in taxation. So, but that has nothing to do with the land use.
Just
When I
land.
say land use, it's a totally different term. Yes, sir. So does anybody have any questions on that? We're gonna proceed, and that's already started. VDOT's had it, and we'll send them off to the different agencies. Yes, sir, Mr. Chair.
No, continue on.
Yes, sir. Well, if that's all we have with that, let's see, the second thing I have is our just our departmental report. I just want to go over this briefly. Usually, I had Jody run this. I don't think we ran one earlier in the year. We usually, try to keep the board updated. Of course, that first section is probably what you guys are probably looking at the most. It's the part with the building and how are our permits progressing with, with residential construction or commercial or what have you. You'll see that total inspections are actually ahead. And keep in mind, 2025 is only through October, so it's 2 months short. The other 2 years are full years. So you'll notice that the inspections are higher than they were the past 2 years. COs about on par. Now this year the COs were, you can see there's about a 20 unit difference there. That's mainly attributed to the Ryan subdivision that was built over by the golf course. You can see those building permits. If you go back to last year to see the building permits, new dwellings, were pretty high. So what you can see is our numbers. If you go down to new dwellings, 2023, we were at 41, and we're at 40 through roughly 10 months. So it looks like we're staying steady in that space. You can also see that, we've had a little bit of uptick in manufactured homes. Right here, it says mobile homes, but they're actually manufactured homes.
What is tourist home?
Those are what we consider the Airbnbs. Short-term rentals is what they call them. So they originally, when the ordinance started, we called them tourist homes, and state code kind of caught up. And they kind of switched the term over to short-term rentals, and we kind of picked that up and amended our ordinance. Actually, our ordinance has that in there now. So, but you can see this is just through the past 3 years. We have about 75 short-term rentals being operated, and I think there's probably more than that because we started that ordinance probably, we do that about 2019, somewhere in there. So I would say at least half again as many as that. And I'll add that we really haven't had very much trouble with it. Most of the negative feedback we get are when somebody hears that they're having one put in, but we put a pretty good layer of restrictions on these uses that, if you're a bad actor, you're gonna hear about it. So, and I have to say that we've had a pretty good track record with people behaving. So, and the rest of the report just basically speaks of, incidental things, your land disturbance and your CBA permitted and that type of thing. So planning commission meetings are about on par. We'll have 6 this year, just like we have the past 3 years. So, and the planning commission meeting, and we have our CIP, they'll meet in December to act on the CIP that'll be sent to y'all in January for final approval. So that's the report. Any questions on that? It's pretty straightforward.
I have a couple questions. Dave, I noticed we don't have major site plans and we don't have minor or major subdivisions listed in the report anymore. Is that because it's been God knows how long since we've ever had one?
That's a good question. It could be deleted.
Yeah.
I
can't recall when was the last major subdivision we had come in before approval.
Right. Well, yeah, that's
been a
true.
minute.
I have not attended.
It may have
an
been
actual
under
major-
planning administration. I can't recall one since.
I think just after Wiley took one and it never materialized
There you go.
up in Delta. So, but we still do have even with the code changes, there's still major and minor subdivisions. You know, something like, if you had a simple change of use of a business, that would initiate a minor site plan. So anyway, pretty basic. Any other questions on that?
I do. Doesn't have to be lengthy. Just give us a little bit of information on how the Rosegill project is going and where is it?
I'm getting some questions on that. There may even be an article in the paper about that. To date, we have not received an official application. We are doing a courtesy review or a high-level review. I've sent it to the different agencies. At this point, it's basically just looking at the concepts. I'm not going to do a nuts and bolts review without an application. I'm going to look at it and say, I'm looking at things that are going to blow it out of the water, like they added 50 lots over here or something like that, or completely done something haywire. I'm looking at the concept and maybe some of the basic things. Now, VDOT, it's been sent to VDOT and VDOT sent comments. They're in the process of sending them. I've had some conversations with VDOT. I've sent it to VDH. They want more information. We are going to give them a pretty good, and I'll give, a little bit into the weeds, but not too much. My policy is I've discussed this with Mr. Harris. We had a conversation at the Water Authority meeting. I will do a basic courtesy review. It's a high-level review. A lot of times you'll get consultants that want you to do a complete review. And what it does is it places an application that hasn't been paid for, it's not complete, in front of somebody that's paid for an application and expects a speedy review. And sometimes they get irritated because I don't respond. Well, it's at my leisure if I don't have money that goes for an application or an official application. So I do respond to it, and I do it as a courtesy. I do look at things, and that's where I'm at with the Rosegill. I do not have an application. So if somebody drops an application they've paid for on my desk, I have a regulatory duty to move that application forward more so than somebody that's asking me a favor to review that application.
Do you have any indication of when they may submit an application?
Well, I wouldn't expect one until they get results from the different agencies as far as feedback.
Okay.
Maybe after the first, I can't imagine they'd probably want to submit before the first of the year.
Isn't there some sort of,
but I can't assure that they'll,
just
any
curious,
day.
aren't they working on don't they have a date, particularly with water connection that they have to live with otherwise that can change? And when is that date?
Yeah.
2027?
Yeah.
Okay.
Bill, that sound about right?
Yeah.
That's what the Water Authority, they have up until a certain time to buy those water connections at a discounted rate.
Correct.
I don't know the month, but the year, I think it's definitely 2027.
Okay.
Yeah, a couple of months, I think it was ago, we had discussed the possibility of some sort of a grace period or whatever given to people who like that, the unfortunate lady up in Remlick area that had her house burned down and she was there temporarily in a trailer and she had difficulty there. We had another one in Deltaville on Crittenden Road. And I was just wondering if you had any recommendation, anything that we can do ordinance wise or whatever to help make it facilitated so that people who are honestly trying to get their place finished have a place to stay.
It would take some type of ordinance amendment. It would be an emergency provision for living in I guess you're assuming they would be asking to live in a camper for a short amount of time.
Yeah, just if they had a trailer there or something, just temporarily. And
it is a possibility if it's the will of the board to initiate it or ask a planning commission member to initiate it. There's things to think about going forward on that. I don't want to discuss too much a particular case, that one down there. I don't know that you would have to have a date, a deadline date.
Right.
And sometimes for certain people, that might not work either. So at that point, somebody's got to take a really strong stand, and you might be in the position of throwing somebody out if they're not moving forward with what they're supposed to be doing to achieve that particular goal. And that may be harder than telling them to not do it in the first place. It's really a tough call. And it did gather a lot of interest, that particular case. And I'm not sure to what degree it exists today. We have not received a complaint on it. But it's, and we have this becomes kind of we have a community that has a lot of campgrounds. And we receive calls on a daily basis, people wanting to buy a lot and live in a camper.
Because they keep this surplus in the old.
I think that's part of it. And for a variety of reasons, we seem to, well, somebody could buy a lot somewhere on the water. They could, come down and put a camper, and it's a lot cheaper than building a house. And, next thing you know, you have a generator running, you have a neighbor complaining because there's a generator running, or they're living in a camper, you don't have proper sewage disposal. There's the health department doesn't approve them. I mean, it's a whole line of different issues when you start having campers. And I think any locality that's probably bent enough to allow campers probably regrets that decision going forward as housing.
Okay.
So,
all right, thank you.
It is something the board could think about, maybe if it's the will. I mean, you can have emergency provision and put a hard stop and say, okay, you get 6 months or a year or whatever. And at that point you're out. You have to, it's a hard decision, and it's not easy to.
Right. And then, if we put out, then we look at the bad person. But, you think about it, everybody's not going to do the same thing. And that's where the problem comes in, somebody may do it and say, hey, yeah, I got my 6 months, I'm gonna do it and do it. Then you have somebody else there that they're gonna stay there as long as they can, and they're not gonna do nothing.
Yeah.
and then, if you set that up, just open up a bag of worms. I'm just telling you right there. And it's just that human nature, everybody's not gonna do the same thing. And people that's gonna do right, and the ones that gonna do wrong, gonna make it bad for everybody. I'm gonna leave it like that.
Okay.
Yeah, I've had discussions with board members about certain situations like that, and it's unfortunate, but we're staying where we're at for now, unless directed otherwise. So.
Continue on, sir.
Yes, sir. Any other questions on the report? All righty.
Dave, I do have one question. I'm curious.
Yes, sir.
This building down here in Saluda, what is that going to be? Right across from
Parking road?
No, right across from the chiropractor.
That's a good question.
What is that going to be? I see that they put windows and
I don't know.
upstairs and
We've had discussions with that gentleman, and I'm not sure he wants to do. We've told him what he can do and what he can't do.
oh, so you don't know where.
So right now he just has a building permit and he's
Okay.
fixing up a building. So
all right, okay. I was just
we've
wondering
given
what
him
it was.
direction. We've had numerous conversations about what
Yeah.
he's had various dreams he wants to do. So yes, you could do that, but you can't do that and that type.
Yeah,
of
because I know it was French Art Gallery back in the day. Then it was Floristry and
yeah.
Street.
It looks like he's kind of gutted the whole building.
It didn't put rooms upstairs. I mean,
Yeah.
windows upstairs.
Right. So I'll move on to my third item here. I've got good news on the Wake boat landing. They've well, I guess it's good news. So we've gotten an authorization from the Corps and PMRC, and they've actually synced the two permits together. They're in line with each other. So we have a few conditions and restrictions that apply to that permit. One of them was to contact the adjoining oyster lease owner, who I've talked to personally. I know him, so, and he seems to be on board with us getting started. He supported the project, so. We also, one of the requirements is a pre-dredge meeting. Mark Longest has set up, put out the feelers for all the regulatory agencies and their representatives, their engineers and staff to set up a what they call a pre-dredge meeting. It's a conference it was customary for any project like this. So, and I spoke with William Wright, and he's provided, as you know, what we understand, he's gonna get this material, and he may have another contractor he works with, which is fine. And he's given a price. The only thing he's requiring us, send us an invoice for, is for a turbidity curtain and and mat. So we want to protect that dune that's to the east side of that little basin. So I guess I have two requests of the board I need action on. So the total of the two items came to $3,513.60. I need authorization for that. And I've also drafted a basic contract. Mrs. Lewis and I, she had a few comments on it. We're gonna work that out. We'll talk about that. I don't think there's anything major, just one or two items. I think we're close. And I'm not gonna make anybody else responsible for this. So I just asked that the board authorize that amount and authorize me to execute the contract. And that's all I'm asking from the board.
Let me ask you one question, David. It says the permit and it's in effect until 2028. Then it says finish prior to March 1st of 2026. What are we?
Oh,
wait, is that 28? Yeah.
let me see.
Issued Virginia Marine Resources Commission permit and is in effect until 2028. Then the next sentence, permit can do.
Yeah.
Gotta be done by.
That have to do with the Tiger Beetles thing?
Yes, I'm trying to read it. Okay. Yeah, I believe that's the restriction for the tiger beetles or the one
So
of the
we can go
restrictions
back
that we're-
in there.
Pardon me?
We can go back in there if we need to, or we gotta get another permit again.
No, we're good till 2028. We just have we have to do the dredge within the restricted time.
Okay, which has it been
I
defined?
think like between now and March is the
Okay,
time we can do it.
So if we get a storm here in June and it closes in, we probably can't get it.
Yeah, I don't think so. We'd have to check with the regulatory agencies. Now, anytime we do a dredge, we have to notify those agencies and go through the same process again. With respect to the pre-dredge meeting, they have to be notified and that type of thing. But the permit's good until that.
Okay,
Thank you. So,
That's a big.
yeah. So anyway, and also, we've gotten permission from VDOT to do the job, and I'd rather, shall I discuss DWR? So DWR, yeah. So DWR, I spoke with the gentleman that we've been speaking to about possibly taking over the boat ramp. And I contacted him and emailed him mainly to ask, not necessarily for any direction, basically that we were going to do this and just to kind of get out of the way. We weren't asking for an opinion or anything. We just wanted them to make sure that they were okay with it. Evidently, there's been some shift in management, and this particular person we were talking to evidently has been shifted over a new department, a new director, a new boss. And evidently, the long and short of it is, he sent an email out the other day that says DWR wants out of this completely. Totally. So that was kind of surprising given the conversations that we had previously, because this particular individual seemed very receptive to maybe jumping in and doing what we're doing. I was doing this more for educational purposes for them and let them observe what we're doing to show them how it can be done. And they seem to be taking a totally different tack. So, and I think it's not this person's decision. I think it's somebody else above him has decided. Yeah. Yeah. I'm sure this person has a new boss and, so anyway, we'll see how that goes. There's some other conversations that we may have to enter in with Lee on that as far as maintenance and that type of thing. But for now, we're going to do a dredge and we're going to get that done. Hopefully in the next few weeks.
Yeah, because you almost need for one party to own the boat ramp and the parking and everything, rather than, because that's been kind of the problem. Middlesex owns a dock, and then
Yeah.
Game Land and Fishery owns the ramp, and VDOT owns the ground.
Yeah. Yeah, it's an odd arrangement. It's something there's several, DWR has lease agreements with VDOT on many sites in the region, but this one they seem to be wanting to divest from, so anyway, that wasn't the best news I heard, but they haven't done anything to date anyway. So we'll just see how it goes. Of course, this is a Band-Aid. We know this is, it's not an expensive fix right now, but keeps a boat ramp open and we'll go on and live to try it another day. But I do need action on this particular item. So if you need that, Sinead, do you need that, or does anybody for a motion need that amount? Okay.
Yeah, we need the amount.
Yeah,
3,513.60.
yeah. 35,1360. Okay.
So what is your motion, Dave? What would you like?
A motion to authorize, it's a motion to authorize me to execute the contract. And a motion to authorize $3,513.60 for the cost of the project.
I make a motion to execute the contract.
And the amount.
And in the amount of 3,000.
513.60.
513.60.
Second it.
Okay, motion made by Mr. Bill Harris, seconded by Mr. Jesse. Any further discussion? Roll call, please.
Mr. Williams,
Yes.
Mr. Bill Harris.
Yes.
Mr. Crittenden,
Yes.
Mr. Jesse,
Yes.
Mr. Don Harris.
Yes, motion is approved.
And one quick thing, this won't take but a second, but I want to put a plug in for one of my guys on my staff, Mark Longest, just passed the DEQ. He's now a combined administrator for erosion and sediment control. So you have a very loaded staff right now for that particular component of, when you hear, with the solar facilities and some of the hiccups that happen internally that, or any type of development where you have E&S issues, I can attest that we have a good staff for that, because that it's not an easy test. It has hydraulics and engineering on it. Not a high component, but it's, a lot of law, and that enables him to run the program, to do all the inspections, to review plans, and it's a good achievement. Just wanted to give a plug from the staff.
Excellent.
And Mr. Chairman, if I can extend that last remark very quickly.
1 second. Would you extend our appreciation of where he is with that, that helps the county?
Yes, sir.
We appreciate that.
Yes, sir.
Mr. Walker?
I want to extend a plug to one of my employees, and that's Dave Kretz. Whether the board may remember or not, you had some doubting Thomases on this. Dave was able to get done in 3 months what Louis and I, neither one of us thought could be done in 6.
Yeah.
At a price less than what was dredged last time, I think. It's my intention to figure out how to way to give a man that exudes this amount of optimism and take charge attitude and creativity a bonus. If I have to take it out of my check to write it, well, I'm at least going to give him a pizza party because I want to reward this. And he likes red velvet cake.
Yeah.
Well, see, she's already planning it. But I really want to commend Dave on this because I didn't think he could do it. I don't think anybody thought he could. And well, let me see. And I know at least one citizen who's going to be very happy that government was creative, optimistic, and had a take charge, can-do attitude in spite of tiger beetles. So Dave, thank you.
Yes.
Thank you, Dave.
Yes, thank you, Dave.
Well, let's wait, maybe hold off on some thanks until I get this thing done. Yeah. All right. That's all I have. Y'all take,
Thank you, sir.
thank you.
Moving right along, item 4G, which was added, Dave Lehman.
That's the one.
Hey, David, didn't you say you had like an hour-long video on the presentation
Yeah,
about the
presentation on how
installation?
this operates and everything.
I was gonna say, Kevin needs to pull it up, right?
Now, good afternoon, or evening now, board members. Thank you for giving me this opportunity to speak to you this afternoon. I'd like to briefly share a significant cost savings opportunity that could help Middlesex County close a long-standing communication gap amongst their emergency services and do so at a substantial cost savings. A little bit of background. I sent you all emails, documents last week, just to kind of give you a heads up, because I only got this information last week. We received correspondence from L3 Harris Technologies regarding a special promotion on their XL200 multi-band portable radios. Because of an overstock, these radios are being offered at $2,699 per unit, less than half the price of our most recent quote of $5,574.60 per radio. A capital improvements plan request was previously submitted to Mr. Kretz a couple weeks ago. Transition all of the remaining frontline portable and mobile radios to multi-band capability. This upgrade is essential for improving communications interoperability amongst our fire, EMS, sheriff's office, as well as our regional partners. From a cost breakdown, under the original CIP estimate, the total cost to equip 45 frontline positions, I need 36 more for fire and rescue, 9 more to complete the sheriff's office, was $250,857. Under the current L3 Harris promotion, the same upgrade would cost $121,455 if the purchase is complete before November the 28th. Additional accessories, including an external microphone and DC charger, are required, which is an additional $15,817.50, bringing the revised total project cost to $137,272.50. In total, this represents a cost savings of $113,584.50 compared to our original estimate. This project addresses a serious communication interoperability gap in our county's emergency communications. Middlesex County operates on a 700 megahertz public safety radio system, while surrounding jurisdictions that we most often work with use a 400 megahertz UHF system. Because of this difference, our responders with single band radios are unable to communicate directly with partner agencies during mutual aid events. Without multi-band capability, messages must be relayed through dispatch process that delays responses, increases the risk of miscommunication, and can endanger both responders and citizens. But put this in context, in 2024, our fire and EMS agencies provided mutual aid, either receiving it or giving mutual aid, more than 114 times. Each of these are affected by the communication barrier. Some examples. When New Kent and York County deputies come over to assist with the Oyster Festival, all they do is turn a knob or push a button on their radio because their frequencies are already pre-programmed into their multi-band radios. Bill's familiar with the system down there where we had interoperability with every jurisdiction around us down in the Tidewater area. We could switch and so forth. In contrast, when air fire and rescue units respond for mutual aid, for an example, to a brush fire, only one multi-band radio is currently assigned to each piece of apparatus. That means only one crew member can communicate directly. The pump operator, for instance, cannot contact the firefighter on the hose line to relay critical information such as, "I'm running out of water, move to a safe location." This limitation becomes even more serious during structure fires, where interior firefighters, pump operators, officers all need to maintain real-time communication. Approximately 6 months ago, Air Radio System had to be taken offline for 30 minutes for a critical software update. During that time, the county's communications went dark. As a contingency, we used the multi-band portable radios and switched over to the King and Queen system, which allowed fire rescue and law enforcement to maintain communication. This demonstrated a critical redundancy that multi-band radios provide. We began this transition of our frontline emergency units to multi-band capabilities about 4 years ago, funded through federal COVID relief funds and various grants. We've made strong progress, but this opportunity would allow us to complete the portable radio portion of this project. When the county implemented the current radio system in 2016, approximately 190 XG25 single band radios were purchased for fire rescue in the sheriff's office. Only 12 XL200 multi-band portables were acquired at that time. Ideally, all frontline emergency response vehicles should have been assigned multi-band radios to ensure interoperability. The XG25 single band radio remains sufficient for our volunteers operating solely within the county. However, these radios are no longer in production, and all newer models have transitioned to the XL200 platform, which has an expected service life of 10 to 15 years. If we do not take advantage of this opportunity, Middlesex County will continue to face a critical communication gap with surrounding jurisdictions. Our responders will remain dependent on inefficient workarounds that will increase response times and risk, particularly during complex and large-scale incidents where every second counts. This is not really a convenience, it's a matter of safety. In summary, this L3 Harris promotion, a time-sensitive opportunity to complete our countywide radio transition, achieve full interoperability with our portable radios, and save over $100,000 compared to the original cost estimate. I respectfully request the board to consider to move forward with this purchase before the promotional process ends. I'd be happy to answer any questions that you guys might have.
Questions?
Is the 800 megahertz systems now, they done with?
No, they're still out there too. Air 700 and 800, you can work those together. I can't work an 8, I can't work a 7. I can't work a 7 and a 400 through the multi-band.
You know, we're talking about different counties having different frequencies and stuff. It really looks like to me, we're at the point where we should look at some kind of regional dispatch. And then we all would be on the same thing together, and wouldn't have to be chasing when these people change and now we get a new radio and then someone else has changed. If we did a regional approach, like to me, it'd be a whole lot of cost savings there for us.
I don't disagree with you. The other thing that we are trying to do right now, on a side note, working with Greg Hunter, right now, Middlesex looks like this. We're in a little circle of our radio coverage area. If I go outside the boundaries of Middlesex very far, I lose coverage on my Middlesex radio. If we are looking at trying to connect through a microwave our system with the regional system, which in turn would turn it into like the York County system where the entire region would provide coverage depending on which system you're on.
Redundancy and backup.
Yeah, and whichever system that you're on, whichever's giving you the strongest strength, you're going to be working on that, provided that you have a multi-band radio. So we're looking at some other opportunities that actually might be a grant coming up for that we're checking on right now as well.
How old are these radios? As far as this 200 XL, or did it come out last year? Did it come out?
No, they've been out for a long time, and this is really what they're pushing right now, everything.
That concerns me a little bit. They're on sale. They've been there for a long time. What's the latest and greatest coming up? Next thing you know, we need another.
These are the latest.
725 megahertz, you know, but
Yeah.
I mean,
But with the multi-band, these are the latest and greatest, and I was just at the Harris conference a couple months ago, and these are their newest models. And to
So
be
they're
quite-
future proof?
Yeah, for 10 to 12 years, but I mean, a radio these days are computer. So
It's a salt.
software,
Yeah.
but I would give it 10 to 15 years. And this is their current most popular chassis. And to be honest with you, the promotional deal that they're offering has more features than what we were buying in just our 200 XL radios.
so on here, you say 45 portable units.
Yes, sir.
That takes care of ambulance, the sheriff's department,
That
all
finishes-
all
that
volunteer
finishes-
fire departments.
That finishes off all of the riding positions on the fire apparatus, ambulances, and a few sheriff deputies that do not have assigned multi-band radios. That completes my multi-band project. Portable side. Doesn't start on the mobiles. That's still another
Do
project.
they need a mobile to bing off of that antenna to talk further?
I'm sorry.
Sometimes you can have a mobile, a handheld unit, and I can talk and I'll hit off your antenna on your truck to get me further. Do they work like that or not?
No, it's not being a repeater type deal.
Yeah, you can turn them, one in your vehicle into a repeater, kind of like. some
Yeah,
kind of
no,
way it works.
you'd have to have, we looked at that even at one point in time, but it's so much expense to do that right now. It's not cost effective. And the mobile units have a little bit more power as well, more wattage, so you get a further
Sure,
distance.
yeah, their antenna's positioned better.
Go ahead.
Yeah, no, I know you, what Bill was saying, but you know, the PDC is looking into that regional process, you know, cause I don't know if you remember when I forgot the guy from King and Queen came in. and spoke to us.
Greg Hunter.
Yeah, they're all looking into that approach, yeah.
I know this is kind of a surprise, but I don't see it as a surprise because in my eyes, with a surprise, a lot of times you got to take immediate action. This is an opportunity. We've got an opportunity and you do have a choice. And the choice is going to be yours, which way you want to move. But I would strongly encourage taking advantage of this promotional offer because I've never seen Harris come down any cheaper than this.
Every so often, I believe, don't they have to be put in some kind of cradle and kind of like redone their software every now and then? Is any maintenance to them?
I do it when we do the programming and everything.
So there's no hidden cost then, like,
No, I do all the program. We've got the computer to program because I've got to assign unit numbers. I've got to assign lids
Yeah.
for both the regional system and our system.
okay, so there's no hidden cost. We gotta have them.
Nope.
Okay.
Is it a monthly fee once you purchase the radios? We still gotta pay something?
Do what, Reg? I'm sorry.
Is it a monthly fee?
No, this is a
Once you buy
one-time-
the
this is a
radio, that's
one-time
it.
cost. This is a one-time cost for 45 portable radios.
I just like to say, I think it's definitely a good idea. You know, so health, safety and welfare is our job. And, you know, this, I wait till, I don't know if anybody else want to say anything, I'll let you speak, but I will make the motion.
Don't make it yet.
But I know, I said I will, but I'm gonna let everybody else talk first. That's what I said. And I will make it, but I'm gonna wait till everybody else speak their piece. But, it only makes sense to me, because, you know, you understand, mutual aid, if you ever been to, in the years, I've been to Tappahannock, King Queen, and I've definitely different areas. Even when they had that big fire at their plant up there. And, you know, just to be able to communicate is very important. And I went to our old house over in Essex County one time. And I'm just letting you know, it's a safety device. And I think we need it. And we have a lot of volunteers too. And if we can support them, we need to.
I appreciate Dave's, your expertise in what you do for the county, no question. However, I I do have two concerns. One, have you talked to these people about if we will to commit to the number 45, could we take ownership of half of them now and half of them after the first of the year?
No, sir, I have not.
Well, see, and here's where the time constraint is a problem, because you need an answer by the end of,
By the end of the month, 28th, this quote is good for 30 days.
okay. Which, you don't have much time. It's either you take it or you leave it, right?
It is. It is. That's the whole thing right here.
Okay, that causes me some issues. Number one, that's just personally me. I don't like being jammed up and saying you got to make a decision today, regardless of when you got the information, which I know you got it very, a week ago, a week and a half ago. My other concern is, and the savings part is great, but I'm also concerned that we're buying 45 new radios. I'm not convinced that 45 is the number that we need.
I've got the inventory sheet right here of all of the radios we have in the county, Mr. Chairman. I have gone through it twice and I have checked off the mobile units that are assigned to the fire rescue apparatus as well as the sheriff's office. You want to count my check marks?
No, sir, I don't need to do that. I take what you're saying. I'm just saying, I think personally, me, that we could operate less than 45 radios.
When will the vehicle units come into play? Because we're talking about handheld walkie-talkies basically now.
We've been trying to transition that, I've been piecemealing it. So like with the River Counties grant, we got 5 radios this year for the fire departments that we're transitioning into their tankers and so forth. I've got another grant out right now with Virginia Department of Fire Programs for a mini grant, asking for 4 radios for the frontline engines. So we're trying to take that in little pieces and kind of cut down on that to reduce the cost. But I had to put it in over a 2-year time period. Portable radios 1 year, and the second year we were trying to transition to mobile.
It's currently a capital improvements item on the upcoming capital improvements plan. Dave has in there for the mobile units to be switched out in 2027 and the portables in 2028. But if we did this tonight, the portables would be done and we wouldn't have to worry about the 28 fiscal year 28.
It kind of bothers me. We're gonna have half of them that have multi-band and other ones that don't. When you jump in the truck and it's
No, everything in the truck will be multi-band. The volunteers, for like the chief officers responding around here and saying, hey, I'm marking en route to the scene or to the station, they still use the single band radios. But the multi-band radios on the response apparatus, all the multi-band radios portables would be multi-band on the response apparatus.
Okay, let me just for clarification for me, if you have these 45 new handhelds, why do we even need something additional to that?
I need these.
The mobile apparatus, I guess we were talking about.
The mobile's just for basically for the pump operators and so forth. If we get enough portables for every position.
That's the 45 we're talking.
That's the 45. The only advantage the mobile gives you is further penetration for the most part. If further you go out distant wise. But I could push that off and try to get grants and so forth with that and try to complete that project that way.
So the mobile aspect of that capital improvements project can be less critical and get pushed out if we had the portable.
Yeah, okay. I can make that work because we still got some grant opportunities here or there that we could push off. Now, what I don't have is frequently is changing out the mobile radios in the office vehicles.
Yeah, that's what I was going to ask you. What frequency are they on? How are they set up?
They're doing the same thing. They're set up with they're set up with single bands in their vehicles, and the patrol officers right now, all except about 9 of them have multi-band radios.
And that's already budgeted for them to be changing those out? Or
No, I've already done that. I've done that with grants,
Okay.
with the COVID monies and so forth.
So not all the police cars have a unit in them that are multi.
Portable. None of their units have multi-band radios right now.
Okay, okay.
All, they're working strictly off portable.
But if we would approve this, they would all have multi-band walkie-talkies, but they would still have single band radios
Yes,
in a
sir.
car. And you're working towards turning those into multi-band as well.
Yes, sir.
Thank
I'd like to, if I'd have been here and when this thing started, I would have been looking at multi-band for all the response vehicles right off the bat.
Yeah, yeah.
We came so close to going to UHF election.
Any other questions? A motion would be in order if you're so inclined to do so.
Yeah, I would like to make a motion for us to purchase the XL 200 multi-band portable radios for $137,272.50. And I also just like to say that we got a lot of volunteers too. And just think about this as we are board of supervisors, and we're gonna hold back on things. And one of these days, everything ain't gonna be volunteer. So now if you want to try to help your volunteers out and try to say, hey, now they cost too much money and you know it all, just think about that. This is health, safety, and welfare. I always say it again. I don't have to repeat it no more. It's to help them. And like I said, being a volunteer, you get up at night anytime to help somebody out. And the county can't help you. And we don't ask for no money. Think about that. I don't know if any of y'all been volunteer firefighters other than this paid one here. He probably been volunteer rescue squad. But I can tell you, if you get up 2, 3 o'clock in the morning and go to a fire, a wreck or something like that, you're gonna want the county to support you. And I'm gonna leave it like that.
I know that both in law enforcement and in rescue work, there's probably nothing more important than having great communications. It's your lifeline. And so I'm going to second it.
Motion made by Mr. Jesse, seconded by Mr. Crittenden. Any further discussion?
I know you're in with the volunteer fire department, talking to them all the time. Did their chiefs all say, heck yeah, that's the way to go? They're
We've
all
been
in.
pushing for this for 4 years. So
Roll call, please.
Mr. Bill Harris,
Yes.
Mr. Crittenden,
Yes.
Mr. Jesse,
Yes.
Mr. Williams,
Yes.
Mr. Don Harris.
Yes, your motion is approved.
thank you.
Mr. Chairman, if I may, this is perhaps going to be the first time we use the Jesse Fund, the Emergency Services Set Aside Fund that we created in this budget of $500,000 to take advantage of opportunities like this or to react to surprises based on rescue and emergency services needs. So we'll probably bring some money in from that, need an appropriation of that amount from that fund.
That's correct, but we do have it set aside as Matt's pulled up on the budget. We have it set aside. We'll just have to appropriate it at the next available meeting.
Thank you, Mr. Walker. All right. Item 5, regular agenda items, temporary parking at Cook's Corner. Ms. Riccardi? Thanks, Dave.
Thank y'all.
As the board may recall, back on March 4th, the county engineer and the planning director presented several options to the board for parking improvements at Cook's Corner Central Park. The purpose for the improvements were to get parking off this main driveway. Right now, people are parking at my skate park, at my skate park, at your skate park, I don't own one, your basketball court and your playground right along this. They'll park here in this gravel area, but they'll also park along the roadway. Last time I was there, this gravel area was full, which holds like 2 people. And so I was parking here and I was with 2 or 3 other vehicles. So But the project that we discussed, which doesn't really show here anymore, was to take a driveway all the way down here and dump out here, as you recall. So it was to basically put people parking down here and parking along here and exiting through here. That was the final plan. However, the project's been delayed in part because of our goals with the old RCE building. And that is we want to work together to make the perfect, the perfect site plan, if you will. That's the word, the site plan. Unfortunately, I'm still having difficulty with people parking and their own safety. And what I'd like to request at this time is to use some of our parking funds, which we budgeted, I think about $200,000 this year. So it would take about, I think $10,000, maybe $12,000. If that, to gravel this area right here, just so that I could get people from parking off the road. That does two things. First of all, aside from getting people from parking off the road, it will also, provide some long-term assistance. So when this project is completed, this area could maybe be designed for the handicapped parking or the pregnant lady style parking or the veterans parking, whatever you choose to do. So this could in the end be utilized, but I am asking for it's kind of a variance on what we asked for in the budget, which was paving money, and that's to do temporary paving money. So that's all I've got is I just would like your consideration to add about 6 spaces right here, which was in Plan A of what was presented back in March.
And, sorry to interrupt you.
You're fine.
And that's going to be gravel temporarily at this point in time, correct?
That's correct. I only wanted to gravel it. Again, I don't want to recommend any serious site improvements until the board does everything they plan to do with the RCE building.
I think that's excellent thinking outside the box. I think you do need some parking there, but eliminating a mistake of how we do what we do down the road, the RCE, if we're going to do anything with that, needs to be in play on that as well. So good job on coming up with an alternative that may solve some part of your problem at this point.
Are we looking at graveling B?
Yes, sir. You mean where this B dot is?
Yeah,
Right
I'd say
here.
you have A, B, C, and then along the road.
No, we are not doing anything with A, B, or C at this time.
Good.
Those
okay,
were all of the
okay,
other
okay.
projects.
I just think, let's do something now. B's a little too close to that building.
Right, well,
Yes.
and we were talking about doing C, but if you're I'll just pick on this 63-year-old woman trying to drag 2 kids across that grass, you're gonna get tired, so.
You're talking about along the access road to Sheriff's Department.
Oh, Matt's gonna show us. Oh, thank you, Matt. I could have done that. Appreciate you.
Have we got a price on it yet?
I do not, but it should have been about $12,000. We're waiting for it. And as Matt said, if we get to use our own gravel, it'll change it differently.
Yes, he could.
I
Also,
didn't offer his. I didn't
also we
offer
got some asphalt down in there.
some millings.
So we got mullins down there. We'd be good to put that down first. And then you can come over back. It should be nowhere near that because that will do the job.
Right,
You know,
but we are
depending-
gonna scrape it and flatten it because it is a
Well,
little
so
unsteady, so.
Well.
Are you going to put that out for RFP or are you going to just pick a contractor to do it?
We should be able to get quotes. I should be able to get 2 quotes for it based on the price. If it's under $12,000, we're gonna be able to just get 2 quotes.
Local quotes?
Yes, sir.
I would
We have-
encourage that.
Yes,
For
we have,
sure.
we have one person who has won every quote so far.
Okay,
Eubanks, I think, they're the ones that have been winning all the
There's
quotes.
one too. Oh,
Okay.
money.
motion would be in order to approve the request for the parking at the Cook's Corner Park.
So moved.
So moved by Mr. Bill Harris,
Second.
second by Mr. Randy Crittenden. Any further discussion? Roll call, please.
Mr. Crittenden,
Yes.
Mr. Jesse.
Yes.
Mr. Williams,
Yes.
Mr. Bill Harris,
Yes.
Mr. Don Harris.
Yes, motion is approved. Moving right along, citizens' appointments. Anne Marie, you're still on the box.
Yes, sir. We have 2 applications received for the Planning Commission, one for Pine Top District and one for Saluda District. They're in your packet. Tyler Crittenden has offered to replace the position that Mr. Powell filled, and Tammy Putney has offered to fill the Saluda district. And before you even, I do want to mention, and this is extremely important, that the Middlesex Water Authority has noted that they have upcoming vacancies, that they have two people. One has already told us that they're going off the board, and the second one has indicated that they're going off the board. So if in your wisdom over the next few months, we need to start thinking about how you want to fill positions for the 5-member Water Authority board in 2 positions.
Is that the Water Authority, help educate me, is that district specific or can anybody serve on that?
If my memory serves, it's not district specific, but they tried to arrange it where the people that are located along the water system in the area served that had subscribers represented. I know in the past, we've always had at least one board member. In the past, it's been Pine Top. Bill's on there now. He's got citizens in Hartville connected to it. So
It would be prudent for us to know the two people, what district they're in or not in. And I'd even go so far as to say, out of the whole board, it'd be nice to know how the districts are represented. Unless you know that, Mr. Harris.
Well, there's 5 positions and one of them's a board member. We're kind of going to get out of flavor of being able to cover everyone unless we leave one district out. It happened. I don't know if we're announcing what areas they're from yet or not, or just who they are, because I don't know if they put in formal notice or not.
I'd like to know it before I
I'll ask Chip reach out with you and brief you.
that would be great.
Yep.
And anybody else that may or may not want to know that, what I don't want to see happen is you got 3 people on that committee from the Pine Top, and not anything personal, just using 3 from the Pine Top and no other districts are represented. That would be problematic to me. Okay? We'll wait to hear some more information on that. Okay, so what else you got, Ms. Riccardi?
You need a.
Are we voting them both at the same time, or
Sure,
can we do them both?
you can.
Any discussion on either one of the 2 applicants, Tyler Crittenden or Meriwether Putney?
I think that when we put people on boards, we need to make sure that we have a little chat with them. I think we're very fortunate here. We got 2 individuals that I think everyone on this board already knows them and always talked to them at one time or another in their life. So I think we're fortunate to have a couple citizens step up to the plate that are really good.
Well, I can only speak to Mr. Putney. I personally, because we were missing a Saluda district, so I asked several people in the Saluda district, and he was one that quickly and was excited about being on the committee. Any other questions? Somebody needs to make a motion, please, for both applicants.
I move that both applicants be accepted for the position on the planning commission.
Thank you, Mr. Crittenden.
Second.
Motion made by Mr. Crittenden, seconded by Mr. Bill Harris. Any further discussion? Seeing none, roll call, please.
Mr. Jesse,
Yes.
Mr. Williams,
Yes.
Mr. Bill Harris,
Yes.
Mr. Crittenden.
Yes.
Mr. Don Harris.
Yes, motion is carried. I would ask Anne Marie if you would, I'll also contact Mr. Putney personally, but would you send some sort of acknowledgement to him?
We do that, yes, we'll do that. Yeah.
Wonderful, thank you.
And by the way, Sinead just looked up that the Water Authority is at large. Is that what she said? Water Authority is at large.
Yeah, I thought it was that way. I just wanted to make sure. I would like to have who's currently on the board and, what their district is that they're in. Okay, moving right along, administrator updates, cigarette tax report only. I'm not sure what page that's on.
Yeah, 136, Mr. Chairman.
Staff reports is report only. And item C, which has been added, which I don't think maybe is on your schedule, but it may be. VACO, voting member, historically, that has been Mr. Jesse. Mr. Jesse, would you continue on that?
Take it not unless somebody else want to do it.
Okay.
You have to stay at the conference longer. That fix that.
Sorry, you're not, and not much luck on that. So a motion to confirm, Mr. Wayne Jesse as a VACO voting member would be in order.
Move. Second.
Okay, motion made by, Mr. Williams and seconded by Mr. Bill Harris. Any further discussion? Seeing none, roll call, please.
Mr. Williams.
Yes.
Mr. Bill Harris.
Yes.
Mr. Crittenden.
Yes.
Mr. Jesse.
Yes.
Mr. Don Harris.
Yes, motion is approved unanimously.
Yeah.
All right, item number 7.
Well, Mr. Chairman, I had just a couple quick things.
Go ahead.
The budget calendar was in your packet last month. Again, you don't have to approve that tonight, of course. You can continue to review it. I would ask for y'all to approve it in December. If you're not comfortable with it, let us know if you want to make any changes. Real quick, I've invited Jason Cowan and May Diggs, I keep wanting to call her Birch. May Diggs, to attend the December board meeting so we can discuss the reassessment process. We've got some good data so far. And also the potential of rebates versus tax rates adjustments. So the board could be better educated and firm on that. And lastly, it was this time about last year that the board considered when they may want to hold a retreat. Want to put that in your board's mind, plant seed. So if you're thinking about having a retreat in January or some other date, you can charge us with getting that set up. Maybe a little premature since we're trying to find a county administrator, but may want to keep it in mind on when you may want to do it. And there's kind of niche a little bit.
You're still
So
here in
that was it, Mr. Chairman.
January.
Thank you.
Y'all, he's still here in January. Don't let him.
Okay, yeah, we'll chat as members about that and come up with something possibly later. Okay, you have anything else, Mr. Walker? He can't hear me?
No.
Okay. Ms. Lewis?
Yes, Mr. Chairman, just a brief update on, we had our initial kickoff meeting with Dominion Power for the landfill solar facility project. For a lot of people on the Dominion side, but but it was a good kickoff meeting. Nothing of real substance discussion. It was more or less of who's going to be on the team and discussions and who needs, what paperwork do they need and what do we need from them? So I anticipate having a more substantive update in December. But I just wanted to let you know that we did have that kickoff meeting. Staff is very hopeful and very excited about it, and Dominion is as well. Also, at the request of the board, if you recall, there's the property owned by the school board down at Cook's Corner behind the RCE building. The school board, I think approximately a year ago, did vote to convey that property.
They did.
They did. So
I think there's some paperwork that
yes,
may
sir.
need to take place.
And I have been working on that and presented that to Dr. Seitz. So they'll be discussing that at their school board meeting. They have to declare it surplus. And then I hope to have that presented to you in December. So I wanted to let you know that that was moving forward. And I attended my local government attorneys conference. It was the 50th anniversary of my organization, and it was a phenomenal conference. It was very, very good. Really enjoyed it, and I just appreciate the opportunity to continue to do so. Thank you.
Thank you, Mrs. Lewis. I'm glad you took care of that. Moving right along, item number 8A, any unfinished business? I have some looking for a short explanation. how are we doing with and I'll direct it to either Ms. Riccardi or you, how are we doing with the cleanup project at the courthouse?
Our last mold test came back wonderful. So there was no more mold found.
Good.
We are still scheduled to do a good thorough cleaning of the clerk of court's office, which is extremely expensive because each book will be pulled and dusted and put back in. So every book she has will have to be specialty cleaned. And she asked to schedule that herself because she doesn't want people there when she does it. So it's got to be done on a weekend. So that's where Rachel Hartenbach is going to be dealing that. I have not done anything more with it. That's where we are with it. The next company is working with Rachel to get that scheduled.
And you are communicating well with the courthouse or Rachel or whoever
With
over there?
Rachel and I are discussing this one because there's nobody else involved. Although there is now that particular project, when it's done, will also include replacing a little bit of, what's that stuff called? The white stuff on a wall?
Stucco? I don't know.
The inside, drywall. The drywall needs to be replaced in the downstairs kitchen, so that will be included right after Rachel's project. So there hasn't been any, aside from the fact that the air quality is good and there's been no more mold, there hasn't been any other discussion. And of course, the weather's been perfect, so we haven't had any concerns about the HVAC system functioning or not functioning.
And Mr. Chairman, if I can piggyback on that too, I reached out to the clerk, circuit court clerk while I was ill last week, and she seemed to be pleased. And I also met with the JDR clerk, and she wished to extend a hearty thank you to the board for the renovation of her office. Highly encourage you board members, if you get an opportunity, go over there and look at the wonderful work that was done. She's very happy with the renovation.
Okay, wonderful. Thank you all for your diligence and staying in contact with them and getting to the resolution that we want to get to. Any new business? Seeing none, moving right along. Item 9, matters presented by the board, and I'll start with our senior member, Mr. Jesse.
I attended the battery storage over there in New Kent County. That's where it was very interesting, educational. Doesn't take up a whole lot of space and doesn't make a whole lot of noise. So that was pretty good. And also coming up is the 68th Urbana Oyster Festival. So that's the 7th, 8th of this month. So if you don't have anything to do, got good weather, come on out and support the Oyster Festival. That's it for me.
Thank you, Mr. Jesse. Mr. Crittenden.
Well, I also went to the battery storage. That was a very interesting field trip. And I also had a juvenile detention meeting that I attended. That was kind of, found a few things out there that were fairly interesting. I have a town hall meeting coming up a week from tomorrow in Deltaville. And so I'm looking forward to that, to talking to the people down there in Pine Top. And also, if you're going to be at the Oyster Festival on Friday, come on down to the waterfront. I understand there's a pretty good bluegrass band going on down there.
All right. Good. I also went to the battery storage with the rest of these guys, or some of them, and that's the only thing at this time I have to report. Mr. Bill Harris?
Yes, myself and Mr. Williams, we set in on the pressure service agreement interviews for a engineering firm. For an engineering firm. And one thing that came out of it, because one of the things we're concerned with is the cafeteria room down here, be able to do something with it. And I was asking questions about the roof and stuff, and anyway, and it came around finally, one of them said, well, it's in an historic area. Y'all can only do so much modification with the building. And I think that was at the point when Reggie told me, okay, you don't need to ask that question anymore. Then we can't do no with so it was kind of it was informative, not only just doing the interviews, but we also got a little bits of information about how things, in a historic area, we can't just go put a great big different roof on it, so.
Well, actually, that's not exactly totally
Okay.
correct, because that building is not on the National Registry.
Okay.
The one across the street, the white building is, but that building absolutely is not
We were,
on
I
that.
was under the impression that the one is on national and the other one's on state.
And I believe there are different, right, the state registry, it may be listed, but I think it's got a different set of requirements. If you'd like to, we can look on that, because I believe there was, when we agreed to that, it was not, it was to ensure that we couldn't, it wouldn't restrict making any changes.
And
to
those
facilities.
questions were asked.
Yeah, you made those.
And we were told that no, there's no restriction particularly on that building, but it probably behooves us to look into that a little bit just to make sure we're all singing
The
from the
particular
same.
engineering firm I'm talking about, they took the due diligence and they went out there, inspected the building from the outside and everything, and kind of had an idea of what they thought the building was, so forth and so on, for its structure and everything, just very preliminary, very preliminary. And they, well, it's under the state has historical stuff, so maybe they quoted wrong, but I think that's something we need to find out.
Thanks for the reminder, you're right.
Mr. Williams?
Heather, you got your air condition fixed?
Man, y'all are hitting all the.
I'm just wondering, did you get
There's a
it?
lot of beating and banging going on, so that had to happen.
Yeah, it, 8, 9 weeks. It's fixed. I'm very, it's, my room has,
Okay, I will make sure that we,
thank
that
you.
we got that done.
Yeah.
I will
thank
get the calls later.
you.
Also, went to the Baptist stores and, Middle Peninsula meeting. And once again, Chip put together when he brought the engineers and all us met at the meeting. It was one of the better ones that I've been to in some time. This thing wasn't no joke. You had 6 people that came from engineering firms that came to look at the building. And I'm saying you had one group there that came just like Bill was saying, they went out on the site. We didn't ask them to go out on the site and looked at the inside and everything else, and I told them, I want to see the wow factor. And I said, let me explain, people might get lost. I said, I'm gonna see something ride by the road and it looked good. So I'm just gonna break it down. But this architect, firm, he did the building. He showed you how it looked on the inside and the outside. They was thinking about, just like you said, not doing much to the roof at all. So we can't, well, I said, in case we want to do something to the roof. That's when we came in about the register, about state, federal, or whatever. And then it also said we probably can fool into some grant money. But one particular firm stood out. And I'm telling you, and any other building that I went to that had an architect there, I ain't gonna say I laughed, but I wouldn't, I'll be honest, I made the statement, I don't even want you. So if I've been in a meeting with any architect in 2025 that didn't come out that meeting, what you laughing at? I would tell them, I don't want them. And I'm so serious about it, is that because they came out and we didn't ask them. They gave a wonderful presentation, which I ain't limited to say everything they done.
No, please don't, because we're negotiating price, so that we don't want them to know who, yeah.
They weren't that good.
They were just mediocre.
Have
right?
y'all get finished, you called me up, I'm gonna negotiate that price on long we done.
Yeah.
Anyway,
We
but
won't
anyway,
say
that was good. And let me see, the Baptist stores, Middle Peninsula meeting, that's getting very interesting to Reggie now too. And I also, got some calls from local people in my district, and I didn't know where they're from. And some of them I mentioned to you, guy called and asked about car taxes. And I was looking at your number. I said, man, good thing you left a voicemail, because I wouldn't have called you. But at the voicemail, you said you was concerned actually what district you was in. I said, well, okay, I said, that's a plus sign. I said, your area code said California. I said, now, man, you won't pay no taxes out there. You done moved to Virginia and you don't have it, but I did direct them in the right direction. And I also tell them, anybody else that's listening, if you got a complaint about something you don't think you're being treated, we're gonna treat you fair in Middlesex County. So we'll lead you to the right place and make sure that you get something. I'll call them back, say, hey man, did get any help out or anything? And an interesting call I got, because I don't keep a whole lot of stuff myself, no way. A guy called yesterday, and because he was pumping oil in his place for a year. And I said, man, we didn't know nothing about this. We didn't even know when you bought it. I could have told you when you bought it, you had a bad septic tank system in it if you had confined in somebody. And I'm not satisfied with the help he got right now. And I talked to Matt after everything all over, and Wayne also called on the thing. But that got very interesting to me. And sometimes if stuff don't sound right, maybe it's not right. And so we all working, Matt, Wayne, we working on it, but I'm looking at for an outcome. And I'm going in it blind. So when I'm blind, I'm looking at everything. I am definitely looking at costs because I feel that everything is hidden in the numbers. And I did appreciate the work that Anne Marie I'm doing now. Because I'm gonna tell you something. I think numbers are so much involved if you don't communicate. And when you're talking about a revenue, treasurer, and I asked Tracy something today. I mean, when they got up on the schools, I won't pinpoint nobody. But if you tell me you got money in the treasurer for $300,000, and I'm just let you know because I want you here, you got money that you got grant money for $300,000, and we appropriated to do something. Now you told me we can't use that fund that you put in your pocket for 3 years. Now I'm just gonna let you know where I come from. I don't accept that kind of language. Then that means Reggie gonna look. Because I'm not satisfied with your answer. Then we didn't get no report where the money's at. And you have heard me say I would ask the question, we got the money? Where's it at? So it gotta be somewhere, and it gotta be simplified because once again, we got a uniform treasurer here, believe it or not. And we got the administration looks over money movement, but we got an ace in the hole. And if we think about it, if we all work together and humble, and just like I prayed this afternoon, it wasn't no joke. Look, I'm telling you, we got to work together. We're not going to satisfy each other all the time. And we got to do what we feel is right in our heart. Now, maybe our head, but I don't know which one it'll be, but we got to do it one way. And I do appreciate what Dave done, because I was talking to him in the office, and this is what you say when you appreciate what a person done. When he told me in so many words, I'm going to follow this thing through. So what it told me was, sometimes we do things and, I go and touch Bill on the shoulder and that's it. I don't squeeze it. He said, I'm going to follow it through. I knew right then, whatever was done to anybody in the past, that when he said he going to follow it through, guess what he done? He was successful and made it happen. All of sometimes got to go beyond the mark. And don't worry about the bad things, because I believe that it's somebody that will give you time. Don't force anything on you. It's somebody that'll give you your time, not your time. It's time. And if we believe that, we'll be fine and get along a whole lot better. So I don't know if I said too much or not, Bill, but I just say it anyway.
I would like to just touch on one thing. When we did those interviews, though, I would, Chip England really did a good job
did a
of
good
keeping us
job.
on time, keeping them moving. Had 6 engineering firms come through and keep them on time. He really did well. And there was one question that we asked, I believe, every engineering firm, we asked them all the same questions. And what we named the building down here, the cafeteria, will have an effect on getting grants. We can name it, it might be a longer name to get 2 or 3 different sets of grants, or how we do, but it's something we should consider when the name, how we put it out there.
And also, I didn't tell Chip. Chip done a good job. He won't here tonight. Chip put together, I guess him and Amy had done it together, but I don't want to leave nobody out. But Chip is creative this time. It's Chip and Sarah, but you always count the heads, Chip, he done a good job, and Sarah done a good job in putting it together, because what it told you, if I make my mind up, Wayne Justice is going to be my lawyer, then I won't call Helen. I won't call you. I won't call nobody else. But I just want you to listen to what I'm saying. Then I'm not going to know anything more, because I call Wayne Jesse and I don't give nobody else a chance to do it. Chip didn't do that. He called 6. And out of that 6, let me tell you something. It was 2 of them that shined real good. I think Bill, one of them shined a whole lot more than the other one that was on there. Well, I can't say that until we get that right.
Thank you, board members. And I'll ask Shanae if you would, the week of the 17th, Monday the 17th, would you send out all of us a reminder of the joint meeting, school board and Board of Supervisors on 7/19 at 6 o'clock, and that will be in here. Okay? And you'll get a reminder on that. Okay, let's move right along. I'd like to open for any public comments. Oh, really? Damn, let me write that down. No, I appreciate it. Thank you very much. I'm going to close public comment, and a motion would be in order to move into closed session.
Yes, sir. So we are going to be meeting here in this room. I do not know if we will take action or not. We might. I really can't say. So I'm not trying to create a cliffhanger, but I just don't know definitively.
If we do, we'll let you know.
There you go. So with that, board, you need a motion to convene in closed session pursuant to Virginia Code Sections 2.2-11 A1 and for A3 and A8. This is so you can have a discussion of personnel matters regarding the county administrator. It's also so you can have a discussion about acquiring real property for a public purpose and about the discussion of disposing of county-owned property, where those discussions in an open meeting would adversely affect your bargaining position, and so that you may consult with legal counsel regarding specific legal matters, procedures, and questions about the acquisition and the disposition of said properties.
So moved.
So moved by Bill Harris,
Second.
second by Mr. Randy Crittenden. No further discussion. Roll call, please.
Mr. Bill Harris,
Yes.
Mr. Crittenden,
Yes.
Mr. Jesse,
Yes.
Mr. Williams,
Yes.
Mr. Don Harris.
Yes. Motion approved. We will now